All right. Welcome. If you're joining the recording, appreciate it. Of session 24, I believe, of group 6.
Yeah, I'm in there.
Might be right.
Maybe.
I never learned how to count, so your guess is as good as mine.
No. Okay. Wow. It was like teleporting out of the zone. Okay. So going through the recap, we have arrived at Fort Farron from having the conversation in the Southern Frosthorn Mountains. That conversation, right? Kind of we're backtracking away from where we were kind of dungeon crawling esque in that labyrinth. We had a conversation that was rather, you know, moving towards what do we do, right? Oh, coin, Regmore, all these things. That was huge conversations that were brought up. There's just a strife, this massive split of trust at that point with the party, particularly in the direction of Regmore. We then began to navigate through farmland. And I'll give a description based on that. All the homesteads that were there in this farmland that were on the west side of the Smallwood of Fort Farron in the northern Gordon Valley, all that farmland was kind of trampled. Like they were showing signs of ruts of like boot prints and large massive things that have kind of moved through there. And this is playing in what you have heard that has happened to Fort Farron in that it's attacked by undead. There's undead horde that attacks it, and so you get to see really the landscape has changed from the footsteps, from the thunderous movements of the creatures, and that has created a change. The homesteads are vacant, right? So the farmhouses and different things that are out there, they're kind of boarded up with windows, boarded up with doors. You know, I'm going to say vacant very loosely, quote unquote, because there could technically still be people living there. But to you all from your sites is that they've boarded them up so nothing can get in, and then there's no lights or any candles, sources of any kind that are coming through the windows or through the doors or through the seams. Then you went through the Smallwood being a beautiful deciduous forest. It is in the change of seasons, so the leaves are changing, right? Turning colors, falling off the trees, all that, yada. And the forest itself is riddled with small, medium-sized game. It has a nice lower kind of canopy, many different kind of riparian zones like streams and other things work through there, flowers and vegetation aloft, and spaces of these trees kind of forming little tiny meadows and whole grassy knolls and all of that. So it's a beautiful, very tranquil forest. There wasn't much said about things that are in there, right? Medium game is not anything that would constitute a threat to you all. Many of them being kind of deer, venison, right? They're running, trying to get out of your line of sight, trying to escape, boar maybe. And then you came across hunters, like people that were actually, hunting inside of the Smallwood. Again, I'm referencing this in the recap because Mikey, you weren't here, and we're going into the conversation of the undead horde. Like, okay, if they're going through the farmland, then they're going through the Smallwood, and people are hunting out here right now. Like, that's kind of weird, right? Came into the lumber area where they have a timber company and they're working through the Smallwood trees. They're still fully functioning and operational. They weren't impeded at all, it seems, by the undead horde. And that's when we went through the description of what is now making sense. The wall, consisting on the western side and part of the north and part of the south of the actual keeps section, which is the keep is directly on the west side of the town, that wall is in dire need of modification, of reinforcement. It's small, it's not very structurally sound. The keep is pretty impressive. That sits in the center of the actual courtyard area, just large kind of grounds there. But it's just not what you would imagine if undead horde was attacking. You would want as a wall, right? Like that's not something we want. Now they've gone through the change relevant to the eastern wall and some of the north and south. They're using cranes and other sorts of mechanisms as they're really building up that wall to be something you would be more familiar with coming from Othema, right? Coming from that city, seeing how beautiful and immaculate brick walls they were. They're tall, they had towers, all these things. That is what they're doing, but it's just not on the side that you would imagine the undead are attacking from, which poses a problem. You haven't really gotten a chance to see what's going on in the grounds or in the courtyard per se. You just can see the keep and the walls from your perspectives. And then you made way to the north using the trail or the road, I should state, dirt and rocky, passing through on the northern side of the town walls, which mimic that same kind of 10 feet, 2 feet, and a little bit of platforms, suggesting as towers, and double wooden doors that can be barred as a gate, quote unquote. The guard themselves that were there on the towers were not exactly what you imagine to be proper guard. They were kind of sleeping, if you will, one of which, and the other one was kind of mulling about. Anybody could freely pass in. You then began to make your way onto the cobbled roads, lined with a small sidewalk with overgrown grass and these small wood trees that have poured in here, suggesting maybe the forest was once this spot as well, right? They've trimmed the trees back, they've used the timber, and they've allowed some of the trees to pocket and flourish in spaces. The buildings are very much far apart. They are single story to 2 story, and then some of the larger structures are actually like apartment style townhome buildings for the soldiers, which are on the western side of the township, just outside of the keep's wall. So they themselves have a lot of activity and a lot of things happening around there. Now we have a blacksmith. We've met them, the twin pair of dwarfs. There's a Fletcher here. There's a temple, right, with Priest Dumley Goldbelly, who's introduced themselves. There is a public stables that's there. It can take your horses and wagons and everything. And one of the things I thought was interesting was the introduction of Yondir, which is the barkeep or the owner of the Lumsden Tavern. And the character of Yondir and your interaction was, I think, one of the more interesting ones I've had with Yondir to all of you. Very funny and interesting character. And I imagine, Mikey, if you actually might have been involved a little bit more with Yondir, could have transition to something even more. Regardless of that, you have procured rooms from Yondir, and you procured rooms for a number of days, considering how long you might be here. The food choices were not very great, but they are nutritious and somewhat okay. Priest Dumley Goldbelly, that character being someone that actually had cured Costas's physical appearance, but they were unable to fix Costas's true ailment. They also had a almost I'm going to show up at your doorstep with pamphlet type vibe and talk to you about the good Lord. A little bit vibe coming through. And that was also put off by a number of you. And I think even Costas was a little bit like, okay. Suggested that you come by the temple or the keep. That suggestion was given, and that they can maybe do more for Costas, or give you more information just overhearing what you've talked about, your reasons for coming here. And the keep became one of those, maybe in lieu of conversation, the keep was more higher up in that listing than the temple, based on the fact you don't know what's going on there. What are they doing with the undead horde? What all of that is happening. So we are technically split up as a party at this current point. We definitely had gone our separate directions in a way. If I recall correctly, we have people at the blacksmith, which is Costas, and you are doing kind of like an apprenticeship at this point to try to fix your armor, right? Try to work on that, and then you're going to maybe extend that into enchanting, going through with other things. We also had a character, I think it was Othala, right? You showed up to potentially help out with that enchanting at that point, and being like, is there anything that I can do? And that aided to the conversation. And so not really wanting to get into a recap of what you're doing specifically, because we're kind of in a very fluid movement right now. We can really do what we want to do inside of the town. And since Mikey is now here with us, I'm kind of just wanting to say, where are you at in your current positions? And then what are we planning to do on this day? And that could be an out of character party thing, so that we were all kind of on board with what we're wanting to accomplish.
I know I had bought rope and amassed stuff for thieves' tools, a secondary set.
Mhm.
And then I also said I wanted to find potions, and you said I had to talk to Paxina, the
Correct.
hermit.
Mhm. So you're keeping with that. You're
Yeah.
keeping with that, and you want to get over to Paxina.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So Thea's doing that. Anybody else?
Well, Othala's after going to the blacksmith and hearing that it won't be complete till tomorrow, he's gonna use the day and just go back to the hotel and study and keep looking into Freemar's book.
Okay, so you're going to go back to the tavern, back to your room, and start working on Freemar's spellbook. Go through that further. Okay.
Did we get any kind of word on what's been going on back in Othema? Is there
No, no one actually has inquired about that.
okay, well, somebody to ask the barkeep perhaps. So that I know it started an apprenticeship back in Athema for getting my crafting up. Is there any way to port that process back to this town instead?
You can. There's a Fletcher here, so you might be able to get in touch with the Fletcher. You can also attempt to do that kind of stuff on your own. Seeing, okay, I might have a kit in my hand, I might be able to work on some things and go that route. If you're looking to have another kind of steward, kind of someone that's going to help you teach you that, it's going to be something that's going to be quicker, more efficient, right? But it's not anything that you can't do on your own at this point. I'm going to take the day and just work on my proficiency. I want to make sure I get proficiency. I also want to kind of explore it. And then I'm just going to basically throw out how much it's going to cost you to get scrap leather and other things to continue to work on that. So it's your choice.
So if I talk to the Fletcher, I'd get like an extra XP bonus, or I don't know how these things work.
Not an experience bonus, a bonus per se. So the best way I can say is like now we're in downtime activities. So downtime activities, they generally will say, okay, you have a specific gold price, and then you're going to accomplish this, this, and this. Because I'm loose, kind of we went through a very loose thing with you learning your proficiency to begin with. We didn't take the proper downtime to get you proficiency with that. And so what I'm stating is that we can either migrate that over to essentially someone else that's going to teach you it, or we can have you take it on board yourself. I would probably say, and I'm going to say, that either way is not going to change the time that is required for you to learn that proficiency.
All right,
It's up to you.
I'll just do it myself for the day then.
Okay.
Seems easier.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Just chilling, hanging out, having a good time.
Felix would spend the day tracking and in disguise following Ragmore on any of his activities. Using
Regular?
invisibility or polymorph to do so.
Gotcha. Okay.
After his conversation with the dwarves, Regmore would have went back into town or to the market, picking up supplies, restocking party supplies, and then since we've just arrived and the information he got from the dwarves, he'd go to the keep and wait to see if the rest of the group shows up there because he doesn't know exactly where everyone else has split off to.
So you're picking up supplies like food supplies.
Yes.
Okay. How many days worth of food supplies are you picking up?
At least 5 days worth of supplies. Anything more would be for a 10-day supply, mostly salted meat and stuff that would bread and salted meat that actually will last.
Okay. So you're kind of should I say I'm going to get some fresh things and then I'm trying to get some more preserved things for 10 days.
Yes.
Okay. So in total, it's going to cost you 13 gold pieces in value for that amount of food. So you're going to get kind of 15 days worth, right? 5 days of um, 5 days worth of kind of fresh food that you can cook and prepare. That's going to spoil pretty readily. That's from the farmers market that they have. Fort Farron has fresh harvest seasons right now. They're particularly they go through festivals as well here, so that's not currently what they're doing now. But you can definitely get into the market area, fetch as much fresh produce and other things that you would like to get. And it's just a plethora of things that grow here. And you're able to collect 5 days worth of that, which is a total of 3 gold. And then the actual dried food is going to be far more expensive. Getting the salt and the other things and buying that out is going to be a little bit costly. Okay. And then you're heading to the keep afterwards.
Yep.
Okay. After speaking with the dwarfs. And then, so Felix, you're on board. So you're basically charting the documents of Regmore shopping techniques here, looking through, hey, how are they touching that apple? Interesting. I wonder if that is specific to where they come from. And then, you're going to be following them to the keep. Okay. And last but not least, are you continuing with the blacksmith?
Yeah, I'm gonna continue blacksmithing.
Blacksmithing apprentice with twins. Gave you a time frame roughly at the end of this day. You're going to have essentially a armor to be able to be worn. That's what was told to Othala. Essentially, it would take a day to be able to do that, and then from that point, being able to come back and do the enchantments. So you're going to be working with them as they are working through that. Okay. All right. So based on what you've told me here, we actually need to go through role play with Thea. Because Thea, you're heading to Paximas on your own.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna start putting ambient sound effects here. Okay. So Paxinas is on the corner of this village ship, right? This town ship, right? It's attached to the fort. In fact, you honestly at this point should have its own name, right? Based on but they call it Fort Farron. Why call it anything else? Fort Farron. What we know. You're passing through the notable 1 to 2 story structures that are more of at this stage like houses. They're housing that's been here for a long time. Some of them going through remodeling and other things, even in the pouring rain. And then in the grounds of those places, either you have kind of wooden fencing or small rock walls, and there are tents. There are campsites pitched up. This is something I described before, the dwarf soldiers, or regular soldiers just in general, as they're trying to fill spaces inside that are open. Suggesting that the people who actually live in these homes, they actually allow, right? They allow them to camp here, and they allow them to stay here inside of their grounds. And you can also see now that we're in the morning, many of them have headed off for training, but those who have lingered are actually helping with the chores on the grounds, right? So you might have a small garden that they're harvesting or helping out. They might be using a kind of a hoe to clear out weeds and other vegetation that are in those gardens. They might be pruning trees back. They might be kind of holding kind of almost like carpenter's tools and other masonry tools, fixing the walls or fixing the fencing or helping out with the renovations of the house. And there's a very communal thing about this, right? The space. We're helping the neighbor helps us, that sort of deal. So you come towards the corner, and that's when it becomes rather wild. You immediately recognize that the trees and the vegetation around the space in this corner are not from here. It's the best way that I can describe it. They do not look like they are from the Smallwood. They don't look like they're from the Northern Gorn Valley, is what you've seen. The flowers forming themselves into 7 petals with a vibrant kind of orangish and purplish coloration. They have large kind of stamen that come out. The pistils, right, the flower parts, they're very long and actuated, kind of accentuated. They sit into the ground. They also grow very tall outside of some of the lower end shrubbery. That's kind of these almost prickly pear-like fruits that you've never seen. Then the trees are in the same purplish, but they have kind of a yellowish coloration. They also are not changing color or falling off of the trees, even though they are deciduous and they have very intricate leaf structures. You come across a small dirt path that's muddy at this point, but it's been reinforced with rock underneath. And you begin to kind of move through the garden area, this natural area, towards what you imagine to be a house that you have seen through the foliage, in addition to a wooden sign that says Paxinas. This is a two-story wooden and rock-walled structure. It sits nestled between, right, the walls at its backdrop and then the natural area that surrounds it. You can observe that the structure is difficult to see through with how much greenery encroaches upon it. It's almost like the vines and the flowers are hugging the structure. They're growing up against the rocks, oppressing. And then the windows, which are like this almost oval shaped with metal reinforcement, they're very like moss covered and they've taken a lot of weathering. There's not really a whole lot of lights that are coming through the windows either, but there are some through candlelight, and that's giving you an understanding that someone does indeed live here. As you approach, a single wooden door has these very old elvish symbols upon, like runes, that form very intricate patterns across the wood. They've almost been essentially kind of worked into it. In addition, you can smell now, from the aromas of the flowers and everything during this walk, you can now smell herbs and spices coming through the cracks of the weathered door. They're just kind of floating out of it. Looking.
Do I understand what the Elvish runes say?
Yeah, I was going to get to that. You do you do understand it because it's not Elvish. It's the predecessor language of Silver. And what you can understand is that it continues to speak of this place as a guardian of the natural world. And that these runes are placed to keep away evil spirits that pertain to the Feywild.
Does that kind of wording sound familiar to me? Like it's something I would have come across in the past? That this person is a guardian?
You might have seen, I would say that you would have not come across this per se in your past. I think it would be indirectly you might have come across, so I'm going to have to actually ask you for a flat intelligence check. Because I'm just curious to see what you might be able to recall and your adventures through. To do this, it's easiest I've known to just roll off of the character sheet, or you can toggle out the HUD if you'd like, try to get that to work and roll it. But the character sheet works really well for theater of mind stuff and rolling off the sheets.
Okay. Ability check.
Awesome. Okay, 19. So these aren't druidic runes. That's what I'm kind of leaning towards. And you don't believe that this would be a druid. The fact that they have metal on the windows, they have certain markers that they're in a house, right? These things do not play into what you know about druids. These runes that you've now are observing and reading have no relation to anything that you have experienced on your journeys. And the vegetation around suggests that whoever lives here, whoever is Paxina, might very well indeed be an otherworldly traveler.
I will approach and then knock on the door.
Okay. You knock on the door. You hear a shrill voice coming from inside. Coming! Coming! Then 3 minutes pass by as you're waiting there. Eventually the door opens up very slowly. And you can observe an old wood elf-esque. Has some very interesting characteristics. The eyes are purple and the hair is wavy auburn. They wear a gown of leaves and vine over a piece of hide, and intermixed into that, almost like a bodysuit, as kind of clings to them. They're very hunched over at this point, and they have many scars across their wrinkled flesh. So they're holding a small wooden cane of just a branch, maybe that they have kind of cleared the bark off, kind of holding it and shaking a little bit as they're staring at you. How can I help you, my dear?
I will greet them in Elvish.
Hello.
And say, it was recommended that I see you about procuring some potions.
Ah, you're looking for some brews? Well, come in. Begins just to walk away.
I'll follow.
Okay. You see inside, upon coming in, is a small common and entry room. Has a spiraling wooden and vine staircase going into the loft-like second floor. Massive glass windows are slanted or domed on the roof, providing immaculate lighting. 3 circular door frames lead west, east, and north. We're going to configure some of the sound. We don't have that in here. We also don't have that in here. That in here. That. About the wooden walls are vines and plants growing freely from different sized and colored clay pots. The flooring is of unprocessed wood. Now, when I say that, I literally mean like it's been a tree that's cut down and the slabs of the tree are just laid out. So it doesn't have any sort of finish or refinement to it. There's also no nails or fasteners that are holding this flooring together. To the west is an interior greenhouse that sits with many plants upon shelves. Buckets and gardening tools hang from the walls. The entire room smells of beauty. The plants work themselves about the walls on trellises, others that are thick and heavy leafed. And the plants, they grow wide and spaced out. A small wooden door goes north to the outside back area of the house, to the north of the entry room, and adjacent to that, right? So you're having one kind of going out, and then you have another door, the same. That is going to go into a dining room of some kind with 2 small circular wooden tables built from old and ancient wood. That is where you believe is Paxita is going. Very slowly. This is like a snail. Just walking across the entry chamber in the direction of that archway that leads into the dining room.
I am being very respectful because this is an old elf.
They are haphazardly put together by vine and leaf, so these tables don't have any sort of fasteners really either. Wooden stumps are placed for seating. The decor of odd stones and bark are placed hung up on the walls or upon decayed wooden shelves. An open kitchen sits with a river rock fireplace on the west side of this chamber. Cupboards filled with clay or jarred items and wooden cutlery. A large bubbling cauldron sits inside the fireplace and smells of licorice. A massive thick slab of wood is held up by about 4 feet by 2 stumps. It serves like an island would in a kitchen space. To the east of the entry room is a storage chamber for storing goods. So that was the third space. Right? It's just kind of a storage area. So immediately comes into the space, sees the table, points over to it. Why don't you take a seat, my dear? I will make you some tea. Yeah. Begins to slowly walk towards the kitchen.
I'm gonna raise an eyebrow, but do that.
Keep-
Just casually observing, looking around, taking everything in.
Taking the scenery. Okay. So after 15 minutes pass by, you're waiting for tea to be made. An additional 15 for the tea to be served. Eventually, 2 clay mugs sit, one of which is on the other side of you. Then Paxina does not use the stump. Instead, conjures a seat made of leaf and vine with their hand. Screenless energy invokes through their hand and begins to pull upon hidden runes underneath their skin of Sylvan. After that happens, they sit upon it and they begin to sip the tea. What you have observed is that it's a herbal remedy of just things about the garden space that you've observed. So you don't know in particular what this tea is because you've never actually seen the vegetation or plants. You have nothing to work on. But it definitely smells of kind of a rhubarb, that pungent acidic nature to it. Maybe a raspberry, right? Has that. And then the coloration is a loose green.
Okay. For right now, I'm going to make it seem like I'm drinking the tea, but not actually drinking it.
Okay.
Like
I'll
I
take
do
your.
most of the time.
I gotcha. I'll take your passive sleight of hand. Totally fine. Unless you want to roll it out. It's your call.
No, passively is fine because it's just a second nature sort of thing that
Yeah.
I normally do.
Gotcha.
Yes, my traveling companions and I are in the market for some potions of healing.
Potions of healing. Yes. I can do that. No worries. Who are your traveling companions, my dear?
Just a ragtag group thrown together by circumstance.
Tag group put together by events. Interesting. All right. Well, when would you like them brewed? And how many of them? And of what potency?
What is your timeline for levels of potency?
Well, a very potent brew can take upwards of a week to make. I have my methods, and I can shorten that time drastically. If you're looking for something weaker, I can have it ready by midday. Or something slightly more potent, perhaps at the end of this day.
Okay, so superior 1 week, greater end of the day, regular
Superior half
Yeah.
a week.
half
Right.
a week.
And then anything else would be half a day or a full day.
Okay. And what is your price for these items?
Well, that's why I was curious of who you were. Price dictates to the adventurers, I suppose. Are you needing this to stay alive, or is this more of I have a scratch and I don't want an owie on my arm?
The former.
The former. Oh, I see. Ah. Well, What is your name?
My name is Thea.
Oh, Thea. Thea or Thea?
Thea.
Thea, yes. Thea, where do you come from?
Where do you think I come from?
I don't know, that's why I'm asking you. Having a nice cup of tea and a chat. And I can see you're awfully defensive. Haven't taken any
Most
tea to
definitely.
drink yet? Do you not like the tea?
I'm particular.
I can tell. You have a few ticks about you, and you're watching me the entire time I was brewing this tea. It's not poisonous, if that's what you're worried about, or any magical effects that would harm or debilitate you in any way. What trauma have you experienced, my child?
That would take longer than the time I have today.
Always in a rush. Should live my life. Can barely get out of bed in the morning. It's a good life.
I hope to one day live your life.
Oh, maybe so, but you don't know where I come from, or who I actually really am, do you?
No.
So I'll tell you this. Thea, I can't remember which, my mind slips me. I will tell you who I am, because I can tell that you are very curious about it. And then, first you tell me who you are.
First, I tell you who I am.
Yeah, yes.
That has several answers, too. Which one do you want?
Why don't you give something an old, tired, and fatigued elf that's willing to sit here for hours drinking tea with someone that no one really comes here, so tell me whatever story's longest. That would be good.
Whatever story's longest.
Yes.
I'm a ghost.
Oh, a spirit, are you?
Not that kind of ghost.
Oh, I see. That kind of ghost.
No one special. No one important.
No one special, no one important. I beg to differ, dear.
But you just said you don't know me.
Oh, no, I don't know you, but I always believe there's importance in every living creature.
Some. Most recently, I was a security official aboard a ship.
Security official for a ship.
Mm-hmm. Many
Wow.
adventures.
Many adventures. I have lived for a very long time. You don't like to talk much, do you? Or tell the truth?
Definitely don't like to talk much. I learn
Well.
more by listening.
Oh, listening, yes. I am going to share with you a bit of information. Well, you told me some information of you. I will tell you the truth. I speak with no filter. It's how I've gone through my whole life. I tell everyone this truth. Many people don't believe me. I will imagine that you would not believe me either, unless you are who I have been waiting for.
Smile frozen on my face.
Yeah. I am from a town in the Autumn Vale called the Spiel. That is part of Lixis, a collection of Eladrin guilds. The Autumn Vale is a place in the Feywild. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. That's wonderful. The Autumn Vale was a large place filled with auburn and purple deciduous trees. Lost their leaves 3 times a year. Rivers and lakes were frequent in the Autumn Vale, and the large mountains of Tilval provided protection against the bogs of Thilka. I am a descendant of Freljord. And that loosely translates to common as Guardians of the Fae. I was trained in natural magic and martial combat, and I was sent through the Feywild congruence to aid the Fey folk that migrated into the Redwoods on Arthuria to either live or return home after an event called the Sundering. You want me to continue?
Yes.
Oh, yes, you would, wouldn't you? I was someone of higher rank. As such, I was given many freedoms. With the Autumn Vale secured, I traveled to the Redwoods and some of Arthuria to visit and interact. I met Saladar, a druidic circle to negotiate peace between Thixia and themselves after Morsatra, the Fey Council that oversaw Thixia, spoke of the conflicts between them. Where do you think the Feywild congruence was? No answers.
I thought you were telling me a story.
Oh, yes, I was, but I'm curious if you know what it is.
Do I know what it is? I think I do.
You can say it. I mean, that's up to you.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking at my supplement notes.
Yes. Well, your supplement notes might not help you in this regard.
Yes. They're not.
They are not helpful. The Feywild congruence was in Thixia, at a place called Siltoric. It's a citadel. My efforts to bring peace between the Salinar and Thixia were met with no, and the rift between the factions continued to grow. Years later, I, along with many Freljord, did what we could to stop Kalima, a matriarch and Salinar, but it was too late. Kalima and Salinar bridged congruence to something else. Bring forth shadows that sucked the very life from the native inhabitants of the Redwoods. I stayed along with other Freljord to help refugees that fled Thixia. I helped them make many a home elsewhere on the continent. During all of these long and hard years, I was met with a young human that told to never give up hope. That the Redwoods would be once more, or what you all call it, the Marshes of Unveiling. They told me that a certain individuals that were strange, foreign, and uninvited would come wherever I made my home. I said that they were chosen to help restore what once was. Are you this individual? I wonder.
Don't know if that's for me to decide.
Well, how many potions would you like then, dear?
5.
5 of which one? Which potency? And you can speak out of turn, whichever rarity you would like.
Regular potions for now.
Okay. It's the common variety.
Yes.
Okay. Michelle, I will have it brewed, and I will have it ready by midday today. And I'll let you think upon the story I've told you, and if you believe me or not. Maybe when you return, you will see that you are who it is that I have been waiting for. Who knows? You're more than welcome to let yourself out, dear. I will get to work. Begins to stand up, moaning, and turns towards the kitchen to begin to brew.
As I start making my way out, I'm going to turn back and ask, did this human give you a name?
Why, they did, my dear. They called themselves Magello.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I will see you later.
Oh, bye now. All right. Moving through that. We're now going to kind of navigate to where you want to go at this point. Thea, where do you want to end up after Paxinas for potions? Regmore and Felix, you're finishing up here at the farmer's market after the last hour. You begin to head in the direction of the keep. So we're going to most likely transition to you both as you make your way to the keep. The rest of you, Othala, you're still within your studies, right? You're waiting to the end of this day. Costas, you're in the same boat. And then Dirty Joe, you're kind of in the same boat, right? Up in the room of the tavern, just kind of working, plugging away with the 5 silver pieces of leather scraps. You're kind of cooked up and you're beginning to make significant progress. So where you ending up there?
I would be heading back in the general direction of the tavern, hoping like whoever I run across first from the group to talk to them.
Okay, so you're going to the tavern. Okay, so we're gonna get to the keep then. I'm gonna put down all of your tokens at this point, so that way you all have vision of this particular map, so you can kind of keep tagging along with where we're ending up. To be the scene, and then I'm going to continue ambiance. All right. So as you both approach, after gathering your supplies, you can see that the wall itself is beautiful. It's significantly larger, right, as I've described before. I'm not going to get in that description. The double wooden door and the portcullis gate are indeed open, so you're able to kind of freely pass into the keep at this point. There's many people that are moving around you, per se. Not as much as there could be after everyone's kind of in their time and place. As you walk into the kind of entrance here, you are immediately fronted with a beautiful kind of statue, and that's given to potentially the actual creator of this place, which is Lord Farron. Lord Farron and their immaculate subjects are kind of showcased with some of their kin and lineage about the statue and figure. It's made of a beautiful white marbling and has a plaque noting the names of Farron and subjects and other kind of houses that align themselves to this individual. To the south and to the north, they are both stables. The north is a corral, which has more of livestock and things, and then the south is more for like stagecoaches and wagons and other sorts of vehicles that are stashed within. The actual kind of livestock part of the stabling has many different war horses and riding horses, and there are several individuals in there that are kind of feeding and dressing the horses and working through mucking the actual stalls. The guards on top of the wall just say hi. As soon as you walk in, they just look towards Regmore, right? Because Regmore's the only one that's visible right now. Felix, I'm imagining you're either polymorphed or invisible. I've just turned your token into the invisible condition. Funny enough, no one can see with invisible. It's super awesome. So if you go invisible, you can't actually see them. Just FYI. So never ever will you. If they actually go invisible, they actually disappear from your screens, which is super cool. So you're getting just waved at, right? They're just kind of saying hi to you and greeting you. Nothing much beyond that. Now, there is jousting happening on the south side. So there's people on kind of horses, and they're beginning to strike each other. They're also training in horse-to-horse combat on that side. There's some archery happening. There's multiple different commanders. They all are wearing either half plate or plate, and they have markings on the sides of their pauldrons. It's kind of like a cloth covering that comes across and fits into their capes of white and green with the Talthar symbol on, and they are given a designation of first, second, or third. And it seems that might be something to do with the kind of level of commanding that they do, or something falls in line with their Talthar rank. They're the ones yelling out and giving orders. Some which are on horseback, others have a bow or a crossbow as they're shooting into targets. On the north side, you have many of the soldiers that you've observed, right? The farmer kind of conscript individuals that you've observed in the tents and making way to this place. You see the dwarves training. They are kind of gathered in large areas in the field of the grounds with many trees in between bushes and things. And they're just kind of sparring and working through combat maneuvers of the formations and such. And between them and the keep are graves. They have many different graves. They're kind of stacked very neatly next to each other. Piles of rocks overhead. Over top, I should say, and then there's many different plaques and other things. The keep is beautiful. From you imagine, the second and third floors have the actual small arrow slits, very traditional, like a castle-like structure. It's made of very thick, massive brick stone. In fact, the pieces themselves dwarf you in comparison of how large the brick is. There's a protrusion that's crenuled over top, and that has a double wooden door that's metal reinforced with two guards outside. With some elevation of foundation, and they themselves are just kind of chilling outwards with battle axes and shields sheathed or on their back, and they're currently having a conversation between themselves inside the space. Unpaused.
Regmore will wave back to the guards that wave to him in greetings. Go up to... This is where the statues are?
Mm-hmm.
Does it look like the similar craftsmanship and everything to the stuff that he saw on Othema?
It's kind of on. It's on par. I would say this is a little bit less. This is definitely older, and more weathered than that. This is in the elements a lot more with rain and other sorts of erosion that happens in this region.
After looking at the stones, going up to what he would take as the main keep.
Okay. As soon as you approach one of them having a conversation, they're actually talking about breakfast. Apparently there was a rotten apple in one of their pies. They're just kind of talking about how horrible that was. One of them turns, it seems to be a human. They don't have any tabards or surcoats, it seems. But they're having the same coloration of the greens and blacks, very checkered-like. Turns and looks in your position. It's a human with brown eyes and kind of wavy, curly hair that flows down, almost like a mullet towards the mid-neck. Very young individual. The other one is a dwarf, kind of grizzled with a beard, slightly older, and they're kind of smoking on a pipe. The human approaches immediately. How can I help you?
Good day.
It's a pretty shit day. It's raining, but that's how it happens all the time. Good day, though. Are you with the other dwarfs? The Gilgal's are over there.
No. I just arrived in the town.
Oh, you just arrived. Well, welcome to Fort Farron. It's a beautiful place. Check out the farmers market.
I did.
All right. Cool. Well, it's almost Harvest Festival. It'll be interesting. A couple weeks now. Lots of produce. Lots of celebration. Can't wait to get drunk. You know what I'm saying? It's a good party. The Harvest Festival.
Is the Lord in?
Well, Lord, not per se, hasn't been a Lord here for some time. Lord Thalfalor is up in Othema. You can make your way there if you want to get an audience with Lord.
No, we just came from there.
Oh, wow. Hard road travel.
give or take.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you're looking to speak with someone higher up, Commander Remar Luna, currently talking to Priest Dumbly in there, and you can always talk to them. But do you have any documentation, any decree? Are you sent by somebody, or just want to have a converse? I'm a little bit confused right now.
He'll produce the letter that he got from the Lord up from Athema. It's like, I have this.
Oh, well, let me take a look at it. You mind?
By all means.
All right. Well, it says here that you were put in place of some investigation of disappearances, and you have authority. I feel like this is more of like an Athema thing. So I just have the Lord's symbol. I mean, it seems like you've done some work for the Lord. That's great. If you want, I can go in and ask if the commander would like to see you, and say that you sent by the Lord. Is this like part of that business?
Not directly part of the business. The Lord told us about the undead hordes that have been attacking the fort, and we've come down here to investigate that, try to put a stop to it if we can.
Oh, so this is like a separate thing. Oh, you're wanting to help out with the undead hordes attack?
Yes.
Oh, are you a fighter? Are you soldiering anywhere? Across different land? Are you an adventurer? Maybe are you from Emberock? Are you an Emberock adventurer?
No. I'm an adventurer, yes. And
Oh, you're an adventurer. Self-proclaimed.
yes.
You have any titles? Any sort of bardic tales told about you?
We killed a dragon up north around Harak.
You killed a dragon up north around High Rock. Interesting. Was it a white dragon?
Yes, a white
Oh.
dragon.
Oh, I've heard a white dragon plagued the holy city up there in some of the regions. You slayed that dragon.
Yes, me and my companions.
Your companion? Where are your companions? I don't see them.
I don't know, I lost them in the town. Thought
Oh.
maybe they'd be here.
Oh, I see. Well, you lost them in the town. Well, I wouldn't say Fort Farron could easily get lost. Not like Othema. I mean, imagine you get really lost. If you get lost here, you might get really lost there. And how do you get lost? I mean, you slay a dragon, right? Robert, do you hear this? He slayed a dragon, but he's lost his... Did you really slay a dragon? You don't look
Yes.
like the dragon slaying type. I mean, Robert, you said... It doesn't look like the dragon slaying type to me. No.
Ripped out its throat.
You ripped out its throat. You ripped out a dragon's throat. Robert, I
Yes.
think he's bullshitting me right now. Are you fucking with me right now?
No.
That didn't sound too convincing. How did you rip the dragon's throat out? Huh? You don't even really have a weapon on you.
I
A warhammer there? What? You can't slash it.
changed into a polar bear and ripped its throat out.
You changed into a polar bear and ripped its throat out.
Yes.
Harvick, do you hear this? A polar bear. Sounds like crazy new news to me. Let's go fetch that commander and see what he wants to do. No way. Why don't you just wait right here, all right? Just give me 1 second. Thanks in the door.
I think they have 3 teeth between the entire town.
What's that?
It's like they had 3 teeth between the entire town.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Bangs onto the door. You hear a voice coming from inside. All right, let me in. Oh, okay. Door opens up. See more people inside of the space, and then it shuts. Locks. Oh, then what? Where can you come from?
Clan Hestrick.
Hester. I don't know that clan.
Not from these parts. Across
Oh.
the seas.
Across the seas, yeah. Yep. Hard time we're living in it. Be a dwarf. It's alright. We'll get through it. So say this polar bear thing, does that come naturally to you? Are you like a shifter or something?
Natural?
A shifter. Shifter, yeah. He's more, there's all these weird human tales of shifters and the like plaguing on people. Long time ago, though. Dwarves made sure that don't happen no more. City stone and all. Rock and stone, brother, you know what I'm saying? Here, you want something? Pulls out a small flask. I've been drinking all morning.
Remote, take it.
Keep you warm out here in the rain, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you want to hit this too? Got this special.
No.
Oh, they call it Halfling Green. Oh. Well, it won't be too much time now. What'd you say your name was?
Fregmore Silverkin.
Okay, Regbor, why don't you go ahead and follow me, alright? Alright, we are now going to learn a new module, everybody. You ready to learn?
Maybe.
I want you to click your token and hover over the soldier and press F.
Yeah, I'm following.
And you're following! Look at that, everybody. That's so cool. All right. So, soldier begins to take you into the space. I'm going to kind of configure the ambiance here. A description of the keep a little more. So now you're inside. And you all can move your tokens freely into the space. Like I said, I want to keep you up to date. We have the party split, but I don't want to. I want you to be able to see as I go through the description. That way we are all on the same page. It's going to be the easiest way. So the first floor is riddled with tapestries of past commander families and lord families, house families. They have their colorations and their banner symbol or sigil or whatever kind of upon them, and those dangle from these kind of core pillars that extend upright from either the staircase or the actual walls themselves. Now, the staircase that sits rounds up to a landing before disappearing about 20 feet up into the wooden rafters that help support the stone structure of the walling around, as well as the wooden wall. So it adds a very lodge-like feel into the place. And some of those banners also dangle down from the rafters. Other decor of great beasts hunted from the marshes, the small woods, or the surrounding mountains, they give furthering that feel. They are mantelpieces on the walls, or they also sit in the rafters dangling down. And this has been observed kind of when you were in Monsag, a little bit with the Great Hall. So it's kind of reminding you of that, just to a lesser extent. The floor is large. It's open with seating areas kind of at its center, kind of like a common area with lounge chairs and couch. And then there are elevated kind of banquet tables and fireplaces that are lit, providing a nice, cozy feeling. Adjacent to the entry room that you pass through with the white marbling and runner, as well as other kind of shelving with beautiful trinkets and things giving note to this place as something that's quite regal, are an armory, a storage chamber, and with a stone staircase below the storage chamber leads to either a treasury and a jail, like a prison. So that all is encompassed into this space. There's an under dungeon area to it. Now, as you kind of press forward, you can see on your backsides there's similar to the other keep, which was Falora Keep, right back in Othema. They have arrow slit kind of spaces within the walls of that Krenyield entrance, and that allows for kind of a trapped area that they can lock down and fire bolts into for those who are coming into the space unauthorized. You can hear the sounds of kitchen and other sorts of tools and things jiggling about, and that is coming from the southwest side, suggesting that those two double wooden doors, slightly metal reinforced, goes into a kitchen that can feed these Bago tables, and the round table that currently Priest Emily Goldbelly sits at, which you have met, as well as another figure, which I will describe. On the other side are servants and things, and they're passing through, which we have a new default ping tool, just FYI. On the northwest side, through those double wooden doors, they are grabbing equipment such as like shields and pieces of armor, and they're kind of negotiating through that. They then begin to escort that outside of the keep. So there are individuals in here, there's people moving about, servants, and other soldiers that are coming into the keep. Not suggesting that it's not completely locked down, but there is some security there. The soldier then begins to pass upright to the stairs as you all begin to follow along. I love that. It's so funny. It's so funny looking as you all spiral through. And now we're going to get to the other figure that Priest Emily Goldbelly is speaking with. It seems to be a weathered and old human male, graying and black full beard. Hair is slightly gray and black with a wave and a proper comb to it. The best way I can describe the look of this individual is like an old dad figure that just doesn't care about maintaining their hair anymore, or like kind of trimming their nose hair and that whole shebang. We've all been there. We've all seen it. We can feel it. They have blue eyes and a long face. They wear a piece of kind of this masterwork plate armor. They have a battle axe currently on the table and the shield to the side. The shield is a beautiful engraved, like golden silver lined and sort of gravings to it, and has the symbol of this family or this house, House of Luna, and that is upon the shield. And then they wear a kind of coat or a cape, if you will, that leads into a surcoat into the same symbol there. That stands for first, and then it has the Talthar colorations, which is a white with red weaving on the sides, and then the holy symbol of Pelor at the center. They have clothing underneath, like a brown leather vest, matching bracers, white cloth blouse, leather pants, belts and boots, all of which are quite common. So none of the clothing underneath the armor suggests they are a noble or kind of wearing that. They definitely look to be like a soldier type, albeit with kind of that souped up shield and the cape. Commander Rimar Luna, Regmor Silverkin, you wanted to speak to them? Ah, yes. Why don't you, Regmor Silverkin, come to see this here round table. If you don't mind, Trevor, that was good enough. Why don't you get back to your post here and leave this fine old dwarf to sit about the table and have a nice conversation with me. All right? Yeah, thanks, Trevor. You just move your token away if you don't want to follow. But you're going to follow until I tell you to stop. I'll move your tokens for you. Get out of here.
Wait, we're not even supposed to be here right now, right?
No,
No,
but
we're
you can follow along. You can follow along because I want you to get vision of the space, simply because I don't want to have to go through descriptions again. I want to give the narration as we're going through. So, Regmor, you begin to sit in. Felix, plenty of time for you to get yourself in here and be able to either change your polymorph or continue your visibility and passing into the space. Very open, many places you can go. And there's also a lot of servants in here. And you might suggest that even if you weren't at this point, you might be able just to stay incognito amongst the mass of people that are walking about. The noise is a quiet noise that's relevant of the ambience. Oh my gosh, it's an upside down baby! Oh no, get out of here! That's awesome. So it is still quiet. So there's not much crowd noise, but there's a lot of vision. So, sitting upon Rigmor. Marisa, why don't we get here Regmor Silverkin and ale? You want some dwarven stout? Get you a nice pale. What would you like?
Ale is fine.
All right. This gnomish female kind of walks out, kind of cooks a tire, beautiful brown, kind of mahogany apron, sets down a steel tankard with a lid on it, filled with the ale. So, Regmor Silverkin, why are you, have something from lower down Valor, saying some business up there in the Holy City, and Trevor told me you were sent here to, not sent here, but of your own accord, along with some adventurers that I don't see. Lost them in the town. Anyways, Trevor was a bit confusing, and I want to hear it from yourself and your word. Who exactly are you, and why have you come here?
Well, from the beginning, we were a crew, passengers on the wrecker. It was attacked by a big red dragon off the coast of Harak. We landed in Harak, met a bunch of people. We're traveling down to Othema, met some giants, killed a white dragon, a bunch of undead, rose from the crypts and everything in Othema. We stopped that. There's a wizard named Dalmadar who's causing a bunch of things. There's, counts on his fingers, five dragons left that we know of. A silver one, a black one, a blue one that's undead. Found him.
Do you describe where this?
No, not where we found it. Just that we found it. He's not grumpy. Grumpy is what he is.
All right. Well, Rigmar, I'm going to cut you off. Silverkin was. Listen, my name is Commander Rigmar Luna. I'm the first commander here of this fort. I have been put in charge. Luna has been put in charge by House Farron under the banner of Lord Alphalor to preside over this establishment and make sure that this is protected. I was put in place. I have actually served on the war front to the far south. In fact, I was there for a couple years before I fell prey to the might of many of Damodar's forces. I speak some truth into what you have here, but I do suggest that you might want to learn to hold on to those whole truths there. You seem to be someone that loves to spill out your heart, but I have lived many a year, and I can tell you right now that you have no idea who the fuck I am. And telling me this whole story might not be the right thing. I could be an imposter. Well, I could be someone completely different than the commander. And this all could be lies, I'm telling you. So, right now, Rigmar, what I will tell you before I hear any more of your information, which is quite honestly a lot to digest, I want you to go find your companions that you have lost, because you could very well be an imposter yourself. I would like to get the whole understanding of what you have just told me from the mouth of them and the ears of them, perhaps, listening to my words here. And we might be able to kind of come full circle around this point and get to a full story and conclusion of who you actually the fuck are. I honestly do not believe you. And I don't think anything you can possibly tell me is going to make me believe you after what you have just told me in the context of this. Priest Goblin, have you seen... yes, I have indeed. I have seen this one, but they were not sitting at the table with the others I had spoken with. Interesting. So you're telling me that this one was associated, but not sitting at the table at the time? No, they were not. They did. I believe there was some connection. Maybe not. No. Actually, I don't believe I saw this one interact with those at the table. Those were adventurers. I was telling you about them. They looked very vicious. Huh. Well, Rigmar Silverkin, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Why don't you go find you all adventuring, traveling folk and come back here, all right? How about that?
Okay.
All right. Sounds great. Tell me, where were we? Oh, we were talking about it was the undead, where they come from. I can only turn so many of them, and they attack more severely. We have been through with this. Are you still here right now? Rigmar? That way. Come back now, you hear? All right. Door is open for you to make your way out.
I would not follow Rigmar. I would just stay and listen to their conversation after he leaves.
Okay, we're not actually here.
I'm here.
Oh,
Right. I'm making you move. I'm making you move your token all the way out. Everyone else could stay. I'm just kidding. You can go or leave. It's fine. I'm gonna leave the doors open at this point, so it's not a big deal. Well, we're talking the severity of the undead. We've spoken of the shrieking creature. Remember we don't. Yes, I remember the shrieking creature. Something in that fog, and it is something vile and dead. I felt it in my soul and my spirit. We need to gather adventurers to go into the marshes. I swear, we need to cut the head off of the snake. We have been through this before. We do not have the capacity of sending individuals in there to actually do what you suggest. The adventurers you saw at the table are, well, they are competent enough to go in. We'll pay them a handsome amount of gold to be able to go in there, but honestly, I fear for their own safety. Every patrol we've sent into that damn marsh has either returned completely confused and with absolutely zero memories of how they've gone and navigated that space, or they're fucking dead. They don't come home. Yes, I've thought about going in there myself. You will not. We need your help. Okay? We need your help here. Your duty, Priest Dumbly Go Belly, is to run that damn temple, make sure everyone in the town comfortable, filled with the holy light of Pelor, and think none the wiser. That is your job. You are to keep the peace. We are hold the crossroads. There will be no trade to Othema or Ismar if we do not hold this damn crossroads. You know very well as I. Soldiers of the Elder, they're fighting down south. There's not really anybody that can fucking help us besides those damn paladins and well, Pelor. And they're gonna march anyways to the south. You got the royal decree. I saw it. We got no help here. Absolutely no one. You better stay the fuck here. You're my only cleric, my only Holy Spirit, and I need you. Oh, yes, sir. Okay. I'm with you. I'm with you, Rima. Always, I'm with you. I understand. I see your reason. But if if we can get them to go, and I can, you are not going to be hopping on another damn adventure, Priest Omni. You were put in by the Cathedral of Pelor and the Society of Household to get your ass and stay here. You are not going to be trudging around the continent again, getting all craziness with all a bunch of people. It ain't going to happen. Your duty and your service to the kingdom is here. Yes, I see that, yes. I feel what I'm getting here is like, you're not listening to me, and like, you're telling me what I want to hear, but secretly, you're going to go leave on with some adventurer group into those damn marshes, and I ain't going to see you again. Onto another random journey of yours to say, I need to get to the lost place, blah, blah, blah. No, it ain't going to happen. All right? You feeling me, Priest Dumbly? You get the energy? You get the vibe? Oh, yes, I understand. Yes, no consequence. Can I at least finish my meal? Of course. Eat of your heart's delight, Priest Dumbly. You're always welcome to the table. I gotta pass out to the commanders. Messenger runs by with a bunch of papers. Looks at him. Got new orders to hand him. New training. You finish your heart. Pats Dumbly on the shoulder. Finish your meal. It'll be all right. And the commander begins to trudge outwards, headed for the northern fields to begin to hand out essentially battle orders, manifestos, kind of things of that nature, right? Not manifestos, but manifests of their battle operations and certain things. And Priest Dumbly is just continuing to consume. Drinking and eating and on the lonesome. Okay. Anything that you want to do, Felix, at that point?
I would wait until hopefully the rest of the party comes back and then like stumble in like I'm also meeting up with them.
Okay. So Regmore begins to pass out to try to find the companions, find the adventurers. And at this point, we're now going to transition to the Lump and Stump Tavern. And I'm going to go ahead and put tokens on the stairwell for those who are upstairs. And then Felix, I'm going to have you on the board just in the corner here, as well as Costas. The time clock a little bit here. All right, kind of showcasing. I'm gonna put some tokens down. Ambiance here. There's not too many people in the tavern. I want to give some here. Showcase. Okay. All right. So Thea, you're gonna get here obviously before Regmore is making the way back. Felix Costas, you're not technically here. You're spoken to the board for vision. You're kind of just chilling out there. And then Dirty Joe and Othello, you're currently upstairs in your rooms. So we're going to start this scene with Thea. So Thea, you're going to be able to have some time here based on what information you got from Paxina to interact with Othala or Dirty Joe. They're currently in their rooms, or you can just kind of hang out, chill until you see people come down. It's up to you.
No, if I don't see anybody in the main tavern area, I would go up to the rooms to see who's around.
Okay. So in that case, you kind of go up to there's a small kind of chamber there, right? That entry chamber has that bathroom, then the two different hallways. I've described that before, right? The fact that there's all the keys are the same. There's two rooms down the south corridor hallway that have the larger rooms, and then there's the smaller rooms that line the western corridor hallway. Based on what you all have taken, that's up to you. It seems you were just handed the same key. It was literally the exact same key, and you were told to go find. Here you go. Good luck. And so you make your way up there, and eventually you knock right on the doors or open the doors. Right, very slowly. Up to you, and you are able to interact with Othala and Dirty Joe in their respective.
I would probably grab Joe, and then, because I know that Othala's door has the crescent on it. I deduced that was his room. Would grab Joe and see if Othala's in, and if he's there, I want to talk to both of them at the same time.
Okay. Sounds good. So you all kind of group up together?
Was crack-a-lacking.
Morning.
Morning. I found us some potions. We'll pick them up later.
Thank you.
He can make all kinds, which is useful.
Do you want funds? You want chickens?
I'm fine for now. I just got 5 regular. It tied us over. Also, he knows Magello.
Wait, he? Who?
Yeah. Paxina lives over there, and they point in the general direction.
The potion person knows Magello.
Yes.
Well, like personally?
Yes.
Well, okay. How
Very,
that,
very old. Very old.
And what was their relationship?
Told by Magello that those chosen would come and help to set things right.
Oh. It's more of that overarching destiny stuff that he seems to be working on for the last who knows how many thousand years.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Said we would help fix the Marshes of Unveiling.
The March of the Holiday Hooby Woody now? Unveiling? Well, what's
Yeah.
veiled, did they say?
I think pretty sure this is where the dead people are coming from.
Wait, I thought the dead people were from the graveyard.
No, that was the crypt we handled. There's a horde here as well.
A horde here is what?
You know, the tracks that we
Lord,
saw,
man.
that
It's
was
like
a horde.
it's like a whole Ned the Dread situation around here all over again. Ugh, I thought I left this stuff behind when I left the old continent. Oh well.
That is a
well, I
story
guess
for another
it's-
time. But
You didn't ever ask.
I
Good.
didn't know to, but now I do. Thank you.
You are quite welcome. So, I don't know. Are we like, we gonna learn more about this marsh thing, or we
We
trying
really-
to meet up with everybody else? What are we doing?
Are you going back?
Yeah, I have to pick up the potions. He said it would take half a day.
Should I do a mind scan?
I feel like he's the brutally honest type. He's been around long enough to not want to play games.
Or just bored.
Yeah, that too. I think he likes seeing people's reactions.
Hmm.
Okay, we could probably work with that.
Where's everybody else? Costa's still getting his armor fixed?
Yep. Won't be done till probably tonight, maybe tomorrow.
Anybody have eyes on Felix or Regmore?
Well, Reg left this morning. When I left, well, I came back and he wasn't here, so I'm assuming he's in the town somewhere. Maybe if no one's seen Felix, maybe they're together. Hopefully.
Well, I mean, before we make any kind of overarching decisions, do
We
kind of
didn't
touch base
RP
with
it.
Custis.
I'm sorry, we didn't RP it, but Felix would have told Thea, because they were moving together, that he was going to continue to keep an eye out on Reg.
Yeah, okay. So I know he's just following him. They're not together.
I think we actually stated that before. I think you actually did, David. I think you did roleplay that Felix said that to you. I mean, something
Yeah.
we just kind of glazed over. Through this conversation, eventually, Rigmore, you are going to show up, but it's definitely time differentiation here between Paxinas and this, so it shouldn't be too much longer, but eventually.
Well, it's morning, so I don't think undead come in the morning. Last time we dealt with them, it was at night. So it seems like we might have some time.
Mm-hmm. Maybe when we go back to Paxina's, we can ask about that situation too.
Which may or may not even be our problem. From the sounds of it. Maybe they've been around here for a while. And we still have the whole Costas situation where you have to go to that weird island or something, talk to that weird deity. Oh, that might be priority number one. I'm not sure. Local undead issues can be handled locally by other people afflicted by them, in my experience.
I mean, Othema did so well with it.
Yeah, well, that was their own failure of imagination, I imagine. Didn't even know their own sun tree was being poisoned. Tisk, tisk.
The Regret, at this point, you have proceeded upstairs, aim to find your plan.
Yep. Go into his door. Opening it up where the room that him and Othala shared.
What room are you all interacting in?
I figured we were in Othala's room.
Yeah, I assumed that as well.
Well, I figured as well. That was why Regmore opens the door.
Oh, speak of the devil.
Where?
Not here, unfortunately.
Come, we gotta go.
Like, go. What are
Okay.
you talking about? I'm
We,
halfway through my sewing project.
I have studying to do.
we have a meeting with the commander, Fremor Alon.
Who has a meeting with? I don't do commanders.
You did the commander thing again?
No.
Thea's jaw muscle is twitching.
That was the Lord.
Mm.
And the captain.
And
You know I don't like authority figures.
High authority figure, yeah. So you met with him.
Yes.
And
Told me to come get you. Let's go.
oh, why he didn't want to talk to you by yourself?
He talked to me.
And what did he say?
He didn't believe what I told him and told me to come get you guys.
Yeah. And just to refresh my memory. What did you tell him? Everything? Let's just assume everything. All right.
I didn't tell him everything. He stopped me.
I wonder why.
Well, you guys go and have fun talking to his lordship. I think I'm gonna go find Costas. See how
Sounds like a
he's
plan.
holding up.
We gotta go get Costas and Felix. He wants everybody.
Well, wait, now hold on a second. Well, we're not all summoned here. You're just over here trying to find your friends or whatever. Like, I don't know. Go with a couple of them. They don't have to know that we're all here together.
But the priest was here, and he told him about you guys. So I need everybody.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
well,
some of us-
It
some of
sounds
us
more
are
like
busy.
a you problem, Regmore. I'm gonna go find Costas. Y'all have fun talking to your kingy wing.
Well, honestly, I think if you said the priest is there, then I think it's actually alright if only a couple of us go. He did meet us all last night, so it's not like we're hiding people or anything. So
That's not what the commander said.
Some people are busy right now. He'll understand. And if he doesn't, that's his loss.
it's early in the morning. Come on. I think me and Thea are good enough.
Okay.
I'm gonna go find Costas.
Where's Felix?
Don't worry about Felix.
Okay.
Sergio, you head off in the direction of the blacksmith to go find Costas. You know
Where's
Costas is over
Felix?
there. Okay. And then Regmore, Othala, and then Thea, you all are heading
To the
Towards-
keep.
to the keep. Just you three? Okay. Not everyone, but you're heading just you three. And then Dirty Joe, you're heading to the smith to attempt to get Costas and go to the keep?
No,
Or
I'm
you
just gonna go talk to Costas. See
You're
how
just
he's
gonna go
doing.
talk to Costas. Okay.
And
I
specifically
love
not
it.
go talk to the king, commander, whatever.
I love it. That's so great. Okay. So you're just like, stop fucking, I'm going, get out of here. The rest of you are like, all right, let's go fix the mess. Felix is over there stealing food and drinks inside the keep right now. Oh, that's cool. Just staying in the crowd. It's so great. Okay. So with that, we're transition us back onto this map here, our town map. And then we are going to go ahead and take a break. So we're going to go ahead and take our 10-minute break. So we can get our legs moving, potentially a bathroom, drinks, things like that. For the recording, if you're watching us, thanks so much. We really appreciate it. And we hope you will stick with the rest of the video and continue to follow along with Group 6. All right, we're back.
Babysitters Club.
Babysitters Club. That is our name.
All right. Keep watching. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. As we get started with the second half of our session. So, based on what I'm hearing, is that now we have the majority going to the keep, but we also will have Dirty Joe going to the blacksmith over Rakas's. So that's where we're gonna head. We're gonna start with that over at the blacksmith. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some ambiance going with that. All right. So, Dirty Joe, upon your arrival, Costas is at hard at work with one of the particular the establishment here. The particular place is known as Brock Smithy. That is for their particular kind of family name that goes true to them. I won't go into names in particular at this point. They're just working. Costas, you're continuing taking directions and taking order from the two as they interwork. And they're also taking on their own tasks. So they are trying to leave you to do things on your own, Costas, and really try to learn this trade. They step in to help, maybe temperament, like what heat, right? But it's relatively straightforward. I mean, you're really just kind of shaping the armor, and then the other twin, particularly the female, right, she's coming forward with different like leather strappings and other things to fit some of the pieces together and showing you that. So now you're getting an understanding that they both are smiths, but one might tailor towards leatherworking and fitment and other sorts of tasks, and then the other might do more in the realm of like jewelry and other sorts of accents and things. So they're not segregated in their tasks. They still can do all of what they do, but they are good at some things and bad at others, just like any person. So, Costas, you lock eyes with Dirty Joe, who's still out on the street pouring rain. You step into the smithy shop with the anvil kiln and other sorts of equipment at the center, venting through the straw and clay thatched roofing. Many of the outer exteriors are half walls and rock walled. You have a workshop and benches and things that exists on the eastern side, and then there are storage and other sources of supplies on the western side. Just kind of has it a little bit divided up with hangers from the wooden rafters of different tools and pulleys and hoists for larger bits of materials. There's not really like a shop per se here. That's what I described previously. It's more of just like buckets of chainmail or crates full of bolts, very mass bulk products. And they maybe have a couple mannequins with other sorts of pieces, but nothing in here is kind of coming at you as like window shopping, right? You definitely would have to request something or browse in their mass stockpile of other things as they fill wagons and whatnot full of some of this equipment and take it towards the keep. So Costas, you see Dirty Joe, you see Costas.
Hey, Costas, how's it going, man?
Oh, good. Are you already inside? Come in, if you're not.
Yeah. Getting out of the rain here. Just, I wanted to see how you're doing, how you're holding up. I know it's been a wild last few days. Everybody else is kind of off doing their own thing at the moment, so yeah, I just wanted to check in, see how your adventure in life is treating you.
Oh yeah, I'm fine. Just focusing on the task in front of me. Can't do anything without my armor fixed.
Yep, certainly important that. Have you? I don't know if you've been talking to any townsfolk around here. Have you heard anything back about your home city?
Not really, but I kind of assumed that was a good thing. I mean, if Athema was up in flames, I assume half the country would be talking about it by now.
Yeah, that's fair. I suppose that's a good sign. No, you're probably worried about it. This being well, actually, I'm assuming this is kind of your first major foray away from home.
I mean, I left the city before, but oh sorry, yeah, that was a dent. Yeah, I've left the city before, but never like this.
Not, maybe not quite what you were expecting, being off adventuring in the world.
I mean, touching a vaporizing rock within less than a week of leaving town was out of expectations.
Yeah, that was certainly a new one for me as well. Um, well, it's been a wild ride ever since we got here. I could understand if it, I don't know, might be a little bit too much. It's certainly, well, I mean, I was kind of seeking adventure and trying to see more of the wide world and understand the mysteries of creation and all that when I left home. So this is kind of up my alley, even if it is a bit of a whirlwind at times. So I don't know. Is it? You feel like you want to continue on? Just kind of want to get a gauge here because you have been helpful in a pinch, and we're happy to have you. If
Right.
there's anything we can do to help you feel more comfortable.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine. I mean, I was raised as a paladin, and there was a certain level of safety. Paladins don't often die in the front lines that much, and but I knew what I was in for. Uh, yeah. No, I'm fine. This is my duty. I've done more in the last week than I've done in the last years. So
All right, well, glad glad you're taking it in stride. Well, since I'm here, is there you want a hand to hold a pair of pliers or something? I don't really know much about smithing, but an extra hand
yeah,
is an extra hand.
neither do I. So you're in good company. Yeah, you just played the working a bit, right, when we were on Thema?
Yeah, it's something I've done a little bit here and there as I was growing up, but I'd certainly like to get better at it.
Yeah. Actually, I'm having some trouble getting these straps onto the armor. Would you mind helping?
Well, sure, sure. And give you a hand there.
All right. So, Barry Joe, as you begin to help with the armor, also picking up your leatherworking instruction, right? And kind of taking charge. The twins are helping, right? Helping kind of teach you and show you things, but they're leaving you both to work through this. Make sure you can stand on your own 2 feet and be able to do this trade on your own. So we're now going to go ahead and come to the keep. I'm going to put token work. So Felix, you're going to be inside for this endeavor. For now, anyways. All right. So as you come through again, the doors and the portcullis are open, so you're able to stride in. You see that the commander, Remar Luna, currently Regmore, is talking with a trio of soldiers that are just kind of asking questions and certain things, and begins to point them out in the direction that they need to go. And after that happens in that conversation, they all depart into their various locations, and then begins to turn towards the stables on the north side, after a halfling kind of pokes their head out of the arched entrance of that space, and then sees you three kind of striding forward, full as they are.
Good morning.
They're looking for us.
Well, yeah, I'm saying that Regmore Silverkin here bring the companions forward to help validate their story. I thought there'd be more of you.
There are.
Well, Priest Dominic Goldbelly told me there was more, so I assumed as much. Are you going to bring them all forth, or is this just the whole lot?
See, told you.
Well, they're a bit busy today.
Yeah.
We're a bit scattered, but we
Yeah.
can handle information gaining.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Well, let's get out of the pouring rain. Bangs on the door. Voice comes inside, and they begin to open the doors and pass through. Oh, they're following. That's so cool. I like that. I love that so much. Makes me happy.
come in handy in our blind cavern crawls.
I'm going to leave, so the doors are going to be open in case you want to move your token in to get more vision. But the commander is just kind of passing forward. And is just making way for the seating area that sits kind of there and just fits himself onto a capture cushion. All right, why don't you all take a seat here? No worries. Holy! What in the
Oh, that's where you were at.
hell?
Yeah, we're me and the commander, right?
Mhm.
You here this whole time?
I'm
Out
gonna
there?
nudge him before he says
No.
anything.
All right, well. Oof. Well, let me introduce myself real quick. I don't know how much Regmore Silverkin has told you all. My name is Commander Rimar Luna. I am the commander here at this fort, first commander of the Talthars, and I am from House of Luna, which is put in charge of Steadfast of House Farron. So it's my pride and joy to maintain the keep and the town itself in some capacity. I do want to start off the conversation quite frank. The stories and tales that Rigmore Silverkin, your companion, if such as Brom here is well, the story they have told is absolutely fucking crazy. I can't put two words. Fucking crazy sounds quite real with you is the appropriate terminology to use. I can't put the other two words together for this. So-
It's almost as if dumping information on someone without being asked is difficult to follow.
Well, it's not necessarily difficult to follow in that regard. I just think the context of delivery was a bit improper. Honestly, don't know who you all are. I still honestly don't. I mean, I heard a story, I heard a tale talking about these fantastical things and all of what you all have apparently accomplished. And then there was some name dropping happening, and I looked into Regmo Silverkin's eyes, and I realized that I was surprised. I was surprised that Regmo Silverkin is still alive here today.
So are we
there
all.
must be some others that have kept this dwarf alive, and it just is not themselves. So I needed to meet those companions to understand the whole picture, the whole story, and, well, honestly, how Regmore is still alive. That's it. That's all I got.
I'm
No.
good at what I do.
Morris, if you don't mind, if you bring forth just a round of ales for everyone. Keep it straight.
Oh,
The
here
bread
you
too?
go.
Oh, thank you.
I've taken ale from the table and put it in front of him.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Your name?
Felix Fenicus.
Felix Venicus. Nice to meet you. The rest of you lot?
Odala.
Thea.
Thea, Dala. Fantastic. Wonderful. And the other of your companions?
They're not here right now, and leave their right to give or not give their name to you. But we have two other companions in the camp.
Oh, well. Felix Venicus, I particularly like you. It's a good attitude to have. Listen, the fort is under attack by undead horde. We do not know exactly how and what they might have tools of understanding communications inside of this very town. Now, what we have encountered is mindless, zombified creatures. Medium-sized humanoids, they just right up, walk into that very trench, hit them with a bunch of bolts, and only a few actually get through, and we finish them off. Burning their bodies. Every single time. The frequency of attacks has gotten a little bit more frequent, I would say. They're now attacking pretty much every week or so. The severity of the attack is kept constant. We always fear that they'll be increased in some fashion, something will happen, but we are making every steps to take to improve that wall. I got a lot of people on it. I got a lot of workers on it, trying to get the wall in ship shape, making it so it's impervious to any sort of high severity that this undead will come at us. We know nothing about the marshes. Nothing at all, except for the fact that it is shrouded in a fog that is impenetrable and magical in nature, and there is a rich and deep history with the place. There are many different people, factions that once lived there, and well, some sort of contest at this point, and they might still very well live in there, but we don't know. Lost all contact. Now, I'm going to let you start off with your story after I've told you this information. I'm going to give you some of that. It's public information. I spread it to everyone that's make their way into this town, and if they're curious about what's happening here. I don't try to put a blind eye over everything, but I try to keep the peace. It's very important that the people in this town feel safe, and so I try to alleviate their concerns through Priest Dumbly Goldbelly. I've told you this information out of the kindness of my heart as well. I speak to you as a person to person. And well, I'll let you... Now, I'm just going to erase everything I have heard from Regmore Silverkin. I'm just going to erase all of that in my mind. It's going to go out the ear, flutter into the cosmos, and I'm never going to remember it again. And I'm going to let you all start off with what you all be fixing to tell me as far as why you're here and what you're doing. All right? Go ahead. Take it away.
Well, Commander, with all due respect, we don't quite know each other, so without getting into all the intimate details, it is suffice to say that we're a group of adventurers and friends that have come from a variety of backgrounds, who have done some jobs that have been successful. We have done work for the Lord Thalen Floor, but that is between us and him. If you wish to get a reference, you're more than welcome to reach out to him. We think we could probably help you if you have an undead issue. And then if our job goes well and you seem to be up and up and compensate us accordingly, we can get to know each other better. Right now, I'd like to see if we can keep it professional. I don't want to speak for everybody else, but, you know, we don't know you. And we've not had the best of experiences with... say we've had people that have had ulterior motives when we've worked with them before.
God damn. Well, Regmore Silverkin, you should probably best not be talking. You should let your companions speak, because that is a better point of view. I do appreciate the honesty, but this time, in fact, no. How are you damn alive? Regmore, I'm serious right now. How are you still alive right now?
Regmore is a very gifted healer, and he's a very strong fighter. He's very talented at what he does. He's very authentic, is like what we like to call him. And if you make fun of him again, I will kill you.
Oh, I'll take that threat with severity as is intended. All right, then. Well, I can offer you as much. If you have a background in adventuring, Priest Dumbly Goldbelly has been looking for groups of adventurers to potentially go into the marshes of Unveiling. Now, Priest Dumbly Goldbelly is going to try to join you on this adventure. Priest Dumbly Goldbelly has seen a lot of the world, and, well, they are quite skilled in themselves, but they are at a point in their lives that they need to settle down here and help the town folk, which is why they put in position by the Society of Falthor out of Elder. They are to the kingdom, and that is their job and their duty. Now, Priest Dumbly Goldbelly is a fantastic resource. They have seen numerous amounts of places and lands, communicated with a bunch of different people, and they can be of great value if you're looking to get some information before you head off into the marshes. What I need you all to do is very simple. I need to understand why the undead are fixing to come attack this very fort beyond it's a crossroads and they want to take it or destroy it or whatever. I need to know why that they are attacking the western wall of the keep's grounds and not attacking anywhere else. Like mindless, succulent, just servants of something. I don't know. What are they serving? Are they serving something big? I'm not sure. I don't know. Is it... Yeah. We have had patrols go into the marshes of Unveiling. Two of which things happen. One, they have no members. Very little recollection of where they've been, what they've seen. Many of these individuals I've had to send home, back to their farms or to their lands to try to heal the wounds of the mind. I've had clerics even fetched out from the very Palor Cathedral itself and try to cure them of the ailments. And somewhat successful, but the memories do not return. Second is the patrols just don't return at all. Because they're fucking dead. They died. Probably chewed and mauled by those mindless undead. Gruesome death. The coffers of this very keep in House Farron are large. There's a lot of coin to be had for adventurers that be willing to go into this marshes and take up the task of figuring out who controls the undead and why they're attacking for. Now, I can reward you a little bit more if you're get all the way to stopping the undead from attacking, but that seems to be a bit outside the wheelhouse of any one adventuring group. Don't mean to speak ill will of you all capabilities. I'm just saying that it would be something that is could be far out there. So if you do get to that, I will reward you as a bonus. We'll go.
Wait, well, let's talk specifics. It seems possible. We might consider it, but exactly how much for each objective.
I see you talking straight to business. Well, let me frank this to you all. Now that you've heard about some of this information, about how dangerous it would be, how much would you charge for service of this magnitude?
I'll take out a piece of paper and I'll write a number and show it to Thea. And it's gonna say 10,000 gold on it.
I'm gonna cross out one of the numbers and write a different one. And returning it, it says 12,000.
Right, looks like they conferred. Can I see that?
That's Felix.
Okay. Yep. So we're in agreement. We want looks like 15,000 to clear out or to ascertain the truth, and we'll say additional 5 on top of that if we stop it.
Well, 15,000 gold is well within the coffers of House Farron, and it seems to be reasonable. As a bonus, if you're able to stop it, I will give you 10,000. Total 25k. Top of the
You're
bonus.
beyond generous.
Well, I wouldn't call myself generous, but I will probably say that this needs to be dealt with. It's been going on for a long time. I'm about keeping the safety of the people here, and well, House Farron is willing to pay.
Right. So 15 to discover the nature of what is going on here, and then another 10 if we can stop it.
That sounds wonderful. You want a contract written up?
Yes. No, in writing.
No, we're good.
Right. All right.
I'm going to give Felix a look.
My word is my bond, even though if you don't trust that.
Well, Commander, this isn't a threat, but one way or another, we get paid for the work we do. So
Another. Oh well. I'm starting to like this Felix very much. So after this adventuring get done, I can probably use Felix if you'd like, hire you on, get some business done. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe. We'll see how
Yeah.
it goes.
Yep.
I feel good with this. I offer my hand out for a shake.
All right. I'm taking in kind. Let's shake it. Regmore, are you saying that?
Yes.
Say Regmore and some land. Well, land is hard to come by, Regmore Silverkid. A lot of this is owned up by the families and the houses. Have a lot of stake in the Northern Gorn Valley, fertile land and all. I imagine you might be able to take that coin and put it in some investments in land. I don't know what's available though, so not my jurisdiction. It's up to Lord down for Lord.
Has word come from Athema?
Excuse me there. What'd you say?
Has any word come from Athema lately?
Oh, well, yeah, we did get a messenger telling us about an attack on the keep. Lord Downfloor is safe and sound, as well as many individuals. In fact, only several were killed in the incident.
You gonna say anybody noteworthy there that was killed?
Well, it did not specify names, so I don't know. Could be anybody.
Reg will look over to Thea and Athala.
He is not looking at him.
All right, then. Well, you're more than welcome to make yourselves if you want to stick around and tend to your business and figure out your ways about this. You can take the keep as that resource. No worries there. I'm gonna let the guard know to let you in if you'd like. Your accord. We try to keep a kind of a communal space about this. Many soldiers, and individuals, and servants, and house representatives come in here, so we try to make it a little bit open. Security, of course, make sure to validate who's coming in and all that, but definitely not like for a little keep. No, nothing like that. Anyways, I'll go let them know I got some more business to take care of and handle. And you all be fixing to head out when? Soonish, I imagine?
When we do, we'll let you know.
All right, sounds good. Wonderful, wonderful. I'll see y'all later.
Where was the priest?
Well,
you said he was out doing some work.
Oh yeah, well, Priest Dumb Go-Belly right now is most likely at the market picking up groceries and whatnot. And Dwarf likes to eat, let me tell you. Fixing at Lumbersome Tavern probably tonight, as usual. I like to hit up that place. But other than that, you find them at the temple. And they'll be working on certain things. Got an orphan boy in there helping out with books and whatnot, trying to teach the ropes. And, well, other than that, here, Priest Dumb Go-Belly. We'll talk to the commanders on them instead and give them some advice and solutions to the undead and their tactics and all that.
Great, thank you.
Hey, Mo, welcome.
I think we should go find our companions and bring them up to speed, and then go talk to the priest if we can. Stop looking away. No.
We will now come to the other module. If you click your token, and you hold down R and spin your mouse, it moves you. Whoa! Not really good for portrait tokens, but you know what? It's cool. Handy for top down, let me tell you.
Well, I'm leaning, but it works.
Here, don't worry, I can fix that for you. Oh, you are kind of Oh, there, we got it. All right. Excuse me, Dirty Joe, you raising your hand? How can I help you?
No, I just wanted to make an annoying noise.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Just like Felix did.
Right on. All right, so I'm going to put us back onto the map here as we leave the keep's grounds. It seems like you're all kind of not arguing against, Felix saying, hey, we need to go find the rest, trying to fill them in. So I'm going to go ahead and cue ambiance for that.
Yeah, I'm sorry I was walking away. I was not intending to do that. The keyboard was not responding, so I clicked too many times.
It's okay. There you go. You're good. Okay, so you begin to pass out. You both. Everyone understands, right, at this point, right, that except for Felix, really, that Dirty Joe and Casas are at the smith. That's where they said they would be. So. Heading over there.
Yep.
Okay. So you can see them both inside of the smithy working. Obviously, they're half walls. You can stare into the structure. Has an elevation, get away from the rain. And currently, only one of the twins, particularly the one that is good engraving jewelers and things, is currently in there. Assisting Casas the metalwork. The other one is kind of fetching up a wagon with 3 different horses upon it. And it seems to be filling it full of chainmail and buckets full of other things using a crane or a kind of a pulley-esque mechanism to transfer it from the back into the structure. And so you just kind of walk in and seeing your 2 friends that are working upon their equipment.
Hey guys, we just got back. Gotta have a conversation.
Oh, hey, did see you there. Yeah, come. Yes.
Now, did y'all get press ganged into something else?
Sort of.
How was his lordship? As pompous as the rest of them?
Oh, I like him.
It's actually pretty nice.
Oh,
Not a lord. He's a commander.
Commander.
He who is in charge. Whatever their title is, they tend to be pricks. But I'm glad to hear this one's an all right.
Yeah, offered us pretty decent penny.
Oh, are we handling the undead thing? And Costas gestures towards the west wall.
We're gonna try. He wants us to figure out what's causing it by going into the marshes of unveiling, and then that's one job, and another job for it is to see if we can stop it. I think a good timeline would be trying to go out tomorrow morning, give the rest of you guys time to finish working on your work, and brains over here and point towards Athala to figure out what we should do with this information. Maybe talk to the priest. I don't know.
Yeah, that's an idea, definitely.
Well, that's a
do
job
you want-
offer anyway. Is that, guys? Is that what we actually want to do? Are we trying to get to that island still? I mean, our buddy Costas here, he's still wrought by that strange affliction that he was afflicted with.
Going to the island's gonna take a while. It'll be dangerous. This is an immediate issue. It's threatening the people. It's
Which will
fine.
also be dangerous. I mean, guys, it seems to be we're wrapped up in some kind of giant overarching, possibly timeline hopping kerfuffle. I mean, this little go around with undead might just be a tiny piece of that. Should we just cut to the chase and see if we can talk to a god of some sort, figure out how to stop the whole shebang? Seems like it might be a higher priority to me.
I can possibly ask and see what they give me, but it's gonna be a cryptic answer.
I mean, I understand your heart there, Joe. And of course, we want to help Casas because you're a valued member of the team. But I think if we leave here, the support might not be here when we get back. We might not make it back this way. So it's okay to leave, but just know what you're walking away from.
No,
And
yeah.
after the previous exit from a major town, we might consider, being a little bit more responsible when we come in and out of towns.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to do here. You gotta figure if these Damodar guys, he's controlling 5 dragons that we know of, plus possibly undead hordes. He's attacking the entire southern part of the continent right now. I think the more responsible thing to do would be to figure out how to end him once and for all, get this whole thing sorted out, rather than just taking some time to fight one little problem while he's out massacring the rest of everybody else. You still had all the dwarves up north that were also dying and being killed. I mean, are they more important than the people here? We didn't help them. There's always going to be more fronts to fight on. I think we're better off trying to find a way to head off this whole thing.
I don't
What
think it's
say
a
y'all?
matter of somebody being more important than someone else. We just happen to be here right now.
Yeah,
Plus,
that's
we
what
don't-
y'all want to do.
We don't have to.
But don't do. Go ahead.
I was just saying we don't have to even fight anything. Where one job is to figure out information. If it gets too hairy and it becomes a problem, we can not fight anything. We can come back, give the information, collect our money, and leave.
Yeah, well, what were the specifics for the job? I don't think you've mentioned if we know much, or like the pay or anything.
Share all the details that we were talked about with the commander.
Yeah, I think we should do it. My issue can wait. I mean, I would appreciate it if we got to it quickly, but there's no need for us to stop everything. And yeah, this pays well. We could probably use the money. And besides that, yeah, it seems like an issue. You can't really just leave it here. To
15,000 is a pretty penny. And
Where? Correct me. Where are you trying to get to? Where's the place you got to go to meet this guy to help you?
The Blessed Isle. It is. I believe it's somewhere off the coast of Lathan, like pretty far up.
Is that the Isle of the Blessed?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah. So according to this map that I have in my pocket, that's on the other side of the Marshes of Unveiling. So we might be able to do both.
Let me. Would you mind if I take a look?
Yeah, here you go. Yeah, see how this is where we're at. We're at Fort Farron, and then we would go through the Marshes of Unveiling. There's something called Jinrula. I don't know what that is. Maybe a town. Might be able to catch a boat or something over to the Isle of the Blessed.
Oh,
Who knows?
that sounds like a great idea. Plus, there's a river there too. There's probably boats on that. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
And if we can't, maybe Regmore can fly us over it, or summon, creatures to fly us or swim us across. Who knows?
All right, if we're all agreed, that sounds like a plan to me.
That actually is pretty smart. But we would have to send word back to Fort Farron, have them hold our collections while we handle the second part, and then come back.
I think that's okay.
Yeah.
I think we eventually want to make our way back up to Athema, unless we're closing that chapter. I'm not sure.
Well, we can't.
Why don't we figure that out afterwards? Either we're going to come back to Fort Farron or send word. But we can let the commander know to hold our reward. You can message him from far away to let him know if when we find out information, and let him know. But if we come across something that's emergent and we have to divert course, then we can. And if we see something that's like, fuck this, we're not doing this, then we go around and let them figure it out.
Yeah, all right, that works for me.
Well, yeah, this sounds like
Flexibility.
yeah, thanks for taking my condition into consideration.
Sure thing, bud.
Your kitchen needs to be repaired. We're going to do what we can to fix it.
Yeah. Costas kind of looks down at the armor a bit and gets back to hammering, almost a single tear coming from his right eye.
Felix, if we did want to potentially delay our travels by a day, we have a way to obtain some potions of healing of differing
A
strength.
whole nother day?
Whole nother day.
I was gonna toss that offer up as well. Instead of 1 day, we should wait 2.
I mean, we can. I just
Just throwing it out there.
Is there any way to speed that along? Could we help her out or something? Maybe so we could pick him up in the morning.
I mean, we have to go back there today to pick up the 5 I already commissioned.
Oh, you want to do another day of brewing?
Yes. Or stronger potions.
I mean, we can, but I think you can put on order and then we can pick them up when we come back to get our gear. I don't, it's the group's call. Whatever you guys want to do. I'm new here. I feel like every day we spend, we're delaying those other things. We probably have days of travel ahead of us. Just looking at this map, and I can't quite. I'm not really good. Maybe Mr. Athala, you could look at this and tell me. I can't tell how far away that is, but it does seem like a considerable foot distance.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe we ask the commander if he has a boat suitable for 6 of us, and we could probably travel down the river instead of walking that entire distance. We'd be able to move a little faster.
Yeah, it'd be a good idea. But I'm not opposed to waiting an extra day. I just say, I think spending time to prepare is good. I think spending more time preparing than actually doing what you're doing, eventually leads to not doing anything.
Where exactly on the map is the dwarven capital that was destroyed, that Clan Gilgal has taken over?
Yeah. Okay. So we're coming to the map here. We get the view over as well for the stream view, just to cycle through. The city of Stone is what it's kind of marked at. Aluda, city of Stone. That is not the Dwarvish capital. It's something to note. They have described that place as a city that holds whatever Dwarven clan wins the election. They reside in the keep, and they are an extent of a presider. They're like a presider over a council. The council is elected officials. It is a democracy. And the elected officials are put in place by the various houses that have lingered, namely human houses, that have lingered through the various dwarven human conflicts of the nomadic region. They all have a play in trying to make sure that the farmers and the townfolk and the way of life is still preserved, with also making that the monstrous creatures that linger here in this region are kept in balance. Not that they are removed, but that they are kept in balance. That the entire ecosystem here kind of maintains itself. The Dwarven clans, what they get out of this is the first right to trade. So something that's really key here is something that you've observed is the massive inflation. There is a shit ton of gold in this world, particularly this continent, I should say. And it all comes to the fact that there are rich gold mines in the northern Frostford Mountains that the Dwarven clans have built their cities over. Not to mention the mithril or iron and other sorts of exports. So it's really crucial to stay competitive with the market, as the Dwarven clan would. To get this gold into the market, they need to have the first rights to do it. And so they have played in a way, the relations between the clans is okay. They still trade with one another, but there is history there that makes it so they cannot stay unified. Dwarf does not forget. So that basically separation is played at a little bit to maintain this status quo. And so they play to get that throne. They play to get to preside over the council. And they have that election. The election process happens every 6 years. Clan Gilgal, if you have heard, has taken it by force. And they have removed Clan Drawrill, which was the presiding dwarf.
Reg will lean over, looking over at the map, and then look over to Thea. You're from here, right?
No.
I thought you were from this continent.
Lived in Elathan. But I'm not from here.
Oh. Where would tropical-esque islands be?
Based on my experience on the Striker, where would tropical-esque islands be?
You would be immediately pointed to Krikos and the Arca. It's essentially a mass of different islands, right? Pelago. So that would point you. It's a tropical place, tropical region, and different systems there. Now, you would have privy that there is jungles in the south side of Thrina, so there's numerous jungles. There's no islands that particularly have any jungle nature that you have observed, besides Penn Island and the Isle of Bure, both of which are conflicted and contested, so you would not, in your time frame, be coming near those islands, but you have heard that they are tropical. And the other tropical is the Isle of Palm, which has been noted off the shores of the Crystal Desert, particularly Witten Bay, and there is a few different ships that might leave Lucere, but they are small and not ocean-worthy, and they are prized by merchants that have a stake in this, what the jungle of the Isle of Palm has to offer. But there is a story That is told by sailors, and that you do not want to land on the Isle of Palm, for spirits haunt their shores.
I'm gonna relay all of that to Reg. Why?
I've seen a place, and I don't know where it's at. I think it's an island.
What makes you think it's an island?
From his vision of the silver dragon, was he coming out over it with the landscape and the jungle on it?
I cannot describe to you further than how I described it. If
Yep.
it feels if it feels like it's an island to you, it would feel like an island. If it is feeling more like a jungle, it feels more like a jungle. I think what I can offer you, maybe in a little context, is that it was not a rainforest.
So his understanding of where the Dwarven city lies, or where Aluda is, to where that the silver dragon may lies, northwest or northeast.
Ismar is very much a cross between the Frosthorn on its north end and rich, fertile, volcanic soil and barren landscape. It is cold still on most of the year, except for that during the summers and the autumn. So, what you have observed was a place that was warm, very much so, and inviting. So, that would have to be further south than anything relevant from Ismar.
Copy that. I'm still working that out.
Well, when you do work it out, make sure to tell at least 3 of us.
Um, Michael, I have a question. About the Isle of Palm. You told me that that the first people were from there, correct?
I told you that's correct.
And I have this little mix in my notes probably. Is it also the Crystal Desert there, or is it close?
So, yeah, you're putting pieces to the puzzle, which is great because this is what you're privy to from your time spent. You're right. So you're privy to this, which might add to the conversation. So the Isle of Palm, as described what I told you, was essentially a stepping stone to get to the Eastern Olar. They used that isle to store and kind of as a place where they established a settlement, right? So imagine you traveled for a long distance and you don't know, right, what is on a mainland. You land on an island nearby, right, to kind of reinvigorate your supplies, get your bearings, understand where you are, because you interpret that an island would be much safer than a mainland in terms of creatures and monsters. So that was what in the context is arise. They used the isle. The first people were known to originate, and that's what the individuals in terms of the halflings and the gnomes, right? That's how they described them because that was in the context. They described that they had came from the isle and that they had landed on these. They did not describe this place as the Crystal Desert. It did not describe the Isle as the Crystal Desert. What's important, based on your notes, which might now be working through, Olara used to stretch from west to east of the continent. Olara became the Gorn Valley, and it became the Crystal Desert. So if East Norlara became the
Gorn Valley or
no, that's the west side. Okay, Olara, right? I'm gonna go ahead and draw with the pen tool. We're gonna get the pen tool. Olara was apparently all of that, and then it was split. What side is east? What side is east? Where Lucere was, if it just described as, and we went through with.
I don't know. I think I'm losing it here.
Oh
I'm
no!
overthinking.
You're overthinking. It is a desert, so it's the
Crystal Desert.
Crystal Desert. That's
Okay.
correct.
Okay, so the people of Isle of Palm crossed over to meet the people in the Crystal Desert, who were the gnomes and the halflings.
But it was once. I was gonna say I'm gonna type. I'm probably gonna put the region names now. It was Eastern Olara. Eastern Olara became the Crystal Desert. So everything that you read was not in the context of it being a desert. It was all a rich and fertile, temperate, slightly rainforest place. And the Isle was described in the context of being tropical.
Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna put everything into context that I was reading in the library and basically try to explain that to everyone. About the Crystal Desert and the Isle of Palm, the first people being there, and just hint off like I don't know if there was any connection with dragons or anything, but I know that's a tropical region and that the Crystal Desert used to be fertile land. I don't know how far your vision went back.
I don't know yet.
Well, if tropical places, what you're looking for, as far as I read up on, that could be anything significant in a time span of thousands of years, would possibly be that place.
So from the map we have the marshes to our west, the dwarfs to the east,
And in the Crystal Valley, the Crystal Desert, I did read that there's reptilian creatures, gigantic reptilian creatures.
So, what if we go through the Marcellin Veiling, complete one or two of these jobs, go to the Isle of Blessed, come back, get our coin from Fort Fair, and then head over to Ismar? If you're passionate about this dwarf conflict, Regmore, we can explore that, I think, as a group. It seems to be connected to one of these dragons, so that would also advance our overall goal of defeating these dragons to weaken Damodar. What do we all think?
I like that plan. I think that's something we should go for. I agree on it.
Yeah, it'll take care of 2 dragons in the next little leg of our jaunt here. Because I don't know if y'all remember back when I had that vision from my stone. It was of some kind of creepy keep in the middle of a bog on the shore of some lake in some marsh somewhere. And, well, this seems to be the only noted marsh on the continent map that I'm looking at. So there's probably a dragon in there waiting for us. Just
It
so
would seem-
y'all know.
I think
It seems something is definitely behind these undead, and it's wouldn't put it past something powerful like that to be able to be connected to it. So I agree, Joe.
I mean, these were the essence of dragon, right? That we're all carrying around. That's what we
Exactly.
learned from old Lichy Fish.
I think so.
All right then.
Michael. Michael,
Yeah, what's up?
didn't Lord Thalenflor at some point say there was a black dragon?
That's
That was
correct.
attacking Mars? Yeah, he mentioned
Well-
there's a black dragon attacking Mars.
No, not attacking. It was mentioned that it was speculated that a black dragon has some play. Now, one of the things that you need to know from that point is that the Commander Rimar Luna actually left out that detail. Lord Thalenflor had speculated, but the commander left it out. Perhaps the commander is, that's speculation. We can't take evidence of that, so I can't tell you that. Or perhaps he left out intentionally, right? Nothing of your passive insights told you that the commander was nefarious or being dubious of any kind. But you do have understanding that Black Dragon has been associated with the marshes and with the undead. And that's all you have your hand raised. How can I help you?
No, I was raising my hand for Lucas.
Oh.
Thank you.
Let's all raise our own hands, shall we? I'm just kidding.
So this circle right here is to keep a marker on the cave.
Yeah, the circle is there to keep a marker on the cave. I'm actually working on map notes and certain things now that the journals have been updated. I want to get all my notes into the actual journals. I personally didn't do map notes and journal icons just because the journal I felt was so bad. But now it's actually really nice, and there's a couple features and things I've looked into modules, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's pretty good, pretty dope. So I used to have map icons across this entire map, but remove them, and that was courtesy of the way importing worked with ID tags. It just wasn't relating to journals very well at some point after having so many worlds. So, oh Felix, I see you got your hand raised. Oh, how can I help you? Oh no, okay, no, that's
You said everybody raise their hand.
Oh no, I said everyone should raise their own hands when they have questions. Not no, everyone stop raising your hands. Put them down. Put your hands down. Okay. Any other questions on the world, the continent map, or anything? No.
Cassis, Thea, Reg, do you think that's a good plan? We haven't heard from you guys.
I'd like to bring up the possibility of. Do we mention maybe stopping by Lathan since that is Thea's hometown? Maybe she might.
Not my hometown.
Oh, not her hometown. It's where she's.
Just like I lived.
Do we have business there, or just like
We
a
do have
vacation?
business there.
We have to return the. I believe you people had a captain who entrusted you with something.
Yes.
No idea what you're talking about.
Not really pressing. at
Not
this moment.
present.
Yeah,
Well, that's kind of like a if we're in a Lathan kind of thing.
Hmm.
I just figured we should bring it up in case you wanted to take into consideration, but seems like that's not what we're gonna do.
No, if we were gonna pass by there, I would have brought it up.
Hey,
Hey, we have to
come on, we talked about this.
Positive outlook. Positive outlook.
There you go.
They did say that cleric was going to be hanging out at the tavern tonight, right?
Correct.
He's hanging out there every night.
I
Yeah,
definitely
so
want to see if he knows anything about a tower off in the marshes or any other notable lay of the land that we should take into consideration. Might be able to head there straight off and save a whole lot of trudging through swamp.
that's good, Joe. That's a good idea. We do have to make sure that he doesn't come with us. The commander was particular that he'll want to, so we need to get him for information and then convince him that it's important for him to defend the fort while we're gone.
Well, I mean, you think about it, though, if we're gonna be going into a dragon den, is it such a bad idea to have another cleric with us?
I don't want to get the guy killed. He's old.
Well, if
And we may not
he's
get a
old enough, we're not his mom. He wants to come trudging off the marshes with us. That's his prerogative. Just saying, an extra healing spell could always help us out.
Is your grandpa alive?
Oh, hell no.
Okay.
Grandpappy Jim Beam? Oh, he passed on years back. Back in the whole Ned the Dread scenario. That was a
The
dark
whole
night. Always. Well, I don't know. Easy story time?
Yes.
Oh well, it's a back home. There's a bit of a tendency for wild magic users and wizards and whatnot to kind of do their own thing and occasionally go completely wackadoo. We had a couple like generations ago. There was this one particular one named Ned the Dread. He started getting into necromancy, wiped out a whole local town, raised the entire thing of a zombie army. And it took like 3 surrounding townships plus a whole bunch of the local hags to come and bring them down. Inspired a whole generation's worth of children's rhymes. Ned the Dread, Lord Undead, hit 'em with a brick of lead. Watch him gag as a hag, Tip puts his soul into a bag. You know, stuff like that. It happens.
Wait a minute, where did you come from again?
The Hardwin. It's across the sea.
Okay.
It's fairly sparse and it's known to, well, I mean, we just kind of generically call people hags that are off in the woods and, practice magic, do their own thing. It's some strange collection of just oddballs who don't get on with anybody else, other uneducated elves and whatnot that try to practice all their magic and whatnot in peace, and other things what was never part of the more stable sentient races that, well, I mean, there's some strange tales about them, like shuffling souls back and forth to demons and whatnot. We try to avoid them if we can, but I mean, if you're off talking to a whole bunch of random, just hermits in the woods, everybody kind of ends up looking alike after they've been rained on and, living in the dirt for long enough. It's kind of hard to tell what the hell you're dealing with. Mostly, you just leave them alone unless you really have to, because you never know what the hell's gonna happen. Bit of an odd bunch.
Visit.
Was that?
I'll make sure to visit.
I mean, for the most part, it's dead boring. It's just occasionally, something freaky goes down and they gotta get a posse together and,
What part
things
of this
right.
is boring?
Well, I mean, hell, most of the time we're just running the logging business. It's just big rural forest land all up in the hills. There's just not much going on. It's small town, just kind of hang out, run the mill, play cards, and then every now and then, some crazy person will raise hell, and you got to go bring them down. That's why I eventually left. It's like so many days of running a sawmill, and then the occasional undead attack. It gets old after a while. Got to go into the wider part of the world and see what else is what. So yeah, that's why I'm here.
Costas is going to comb through his mind to see if this is some kind of strange level of hell, or like maybe like some weird religious site.
Joe, you are a fascinating individual, and when we get through all this, I'd love to just sit down for a while, have a couple of drinks, and I'd love to write your biography. I think the world needs more Dirty Joe perspective. I don't have to say yes or no right now. Just consider it, think about it. I think it'd be a top seller.
Well, it is an interesting proposition. Usually, people's back home is trying to get me to stop talking rather than the other way around. So, I might just take you up on that.
I think everybody needs to hear your words, Joe.
Well, I'm obliged to you.
Well, this is intriguing.
great story. I'll meet everyone tonight. I'll see y'all later.
Did you want to go visit with me,
Where?
Paxina?
You want to do that now or later on tonight? When?
I mean, they said midday. It was morning when I went there.
I have so much studying to do. Yes, sure.
It's just a different kind of study.
This book is very educational. The things Fremar was working on are very powerful. But we can go get potions.
And have conversation. That's also education.
You can tell me about where you're from, like Regax is.
We'll walk
Okay.
and talk.
So who all is going? It sounds like we're going back to Paxina's at this point. And reached kind of past the midday, so definitely know the potions have been brewed. Looks like get more information. So who's going to Paxina's?
Me.
Raise your hands! Come on, everybody! We got the raise hand thing. We should be using it. Oh look! Oh okay. Oh geez, I don't have to spam it. My gosh. Okay. So Thea and Othala, you both are headed to Paxina. Right? Okay. And then Costas and Dirty Joe, you're clinging to the blacksmith, continuing to work away. And then Felix, where are you going to be?
Following Regmore.
Regmore, where are you going to be?
To Paxina's.
All right. To Paxina's. I love it. You all are so great. I love it so much. Oh, okay. All right, so I'm not going to give a description of Paxina's. If you all can recall, if you have any other details about it, you can always ask, and I can fill that in. But you do stride up towards the door. The door is shut, and you can smell the brewing of things happening from inside. Those smells that you once were there, they've changed in their aromatics, and you can hear softly through the rain that there is a kind of a clinking of a kind of a spoon out of a metal pot.
I'll knock on the door again.
You knock on the door and hear a shrill voice, "Coming!" And 8 minutes pass by, waiting outside, and the door opens. Oh, you all are back. What? Oh, that's right. It's just you. Now you brought others. Oh, wonderful. Well, would you all care for some tea? How about some biscuits? I baked those. They're yummy. A little bit of rosemary in there. Some thyme.
Unfortunately, I'm allergic.
All right. Come on in.
Yes, of course. That'd be lovely. Thank you.
Gets to walk away from the door, leaving it open. Headed for the dining and kitchen space.
Do you need a hand with that? I can help you serve.
Oh, well, it would be wonderful. It'd be great. You could help me, for sure. Oh, yeah, you are, Felix. Called you by your name without hearing your name. Here you are. Take this for you. And, well, yes, let me take this tray here.
Oh, thank you, Paxina.
Oh, you're welcome. Very welcome. I'll get the tea going. One moment here. Long process as Paxina begins to make more tea. You notice that the actual kind of fireplace that they have is being reserved for the potion brew. And so they're actually kind of begin to move their hands and seemingly enough begins to create a new fireplace adjacent to that one made out of just rock coming up from the ground, shaking the earth a little bit as they begin to transform literally the kitchen the new fireplace, lighting the flame, laying the kettle onto some of the intricate stonework that's been shapen, the very earth has been shapen, hanging onto the peg, the backdrop of the fireplace. You just used a whole slew of magic over the span of 7 minutes. They begin to wait for the kettle to heat up. And then they begin to pour the brew and, using you, Felix, begin to hand out the small clay cups to everyone. Oh, I'm so rude. I only have 2 seats. 1 moment. Begins to span across. It begins to grow the seats as such as they had sat on with you. Then begins to sit themselves down, creating their own seat as they slowly begin to sit. How are the biscuits? Are they good?
Delightful.
What?
Yeah, you sure you don't want any, Mr. Othello?
Oh, don't. No. Allergic. Don't make someone sick.
Allergies.
Allergies.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know what that is.
Oh, well, I once had a friend that was allergic to shellfish. Horrible.
I break out in hives. I have rashes. I won't be able to breathe.
Yeah.
You mean the Wimpies? Okay.
Do you just bully people who have allergies back home? So,
No. They would just kick him out.
great. Well, no, I'm fine. Tea's all right for me.
Oh, that's good. Good love. Good. Oh, you'll be needing your potions, yes?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Well, I apologize. I haven't thought of them yet. If one of you would like to help me, I'd be speed up the process.
I'll assist him.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Oh, that cupboard over there, dear, please. Thank you. I'll move the ladle and just begin to. Oh, the funnels through there. And begins to yell out certain instructions and literally just creates a new seat and sits down at the island, staring at you as you bottle your own potions. Grabbing the cork stoppers, stopping it, setting them each onto the island. There you are, dear. Free of charge. You're welcome. Reaches out the hands to hold your hand.
I'll give him my hand.
Your hand. Move it about. Creates a small flower. Oh, as beautiful as you.
Flattery will get you everywhere.
Oh dear, I have lived a long life. I've used many tools to help those in need. Have a calm and soothing soul. You have a rough and exterior, sharp, like the thorns of a rose. Beautiful but deadly. Begins to pick themselves up, walking back towards the table and sits down. That's good. Very tired. As Thea told you the story I have told them.
I relayed it to my friend here.
Oh. That is good. Did you tell them all the story? Or did you leave out bits and pieces of information?
I just smile.
Have any questions?
so.
Do you believe me?
Well, you say you know Magello.
I do indeed.
And when was the last time y'all conversed?
It's a long time ago. I am well over 900 years of age. In fact, my kind, as Freljord, does not age in the Feywild. Instead, we choose when to rejoin the natural cycle of life. But here on this plane, I age, albeit slower. I did not encounter Magello. It's been, well, over 600 years.
And
Rickmore, you have your hand raised.
Oh no, that was from going to Paxinas.
and the conversation you had, he told you about a prophecy or someone would help you.
If you wish to call it a prophecy, you can. That is obviously how prophecies generally are, foretelling of the futures. This one told me that strange, foreign, and uninvited guests would arrive seeking wherever I made my home. I don't have anybody that comes to my door. No one. And strange enough, that one and you all have come to my door. Yes, I brew potions. I do provide, but they are not necessarily the likes of all of you.
Strange.
Foreign.
And uninvited. Is this you all? I don't know, but I tell the same story that I have done since the events had transpired over 700 years. And I have existed, growing old and tired, but never giving up hope. You know, Fort Farron built around, well, me, honestly. I was just a simple, humble cottage in Smallwood. The keep was there. A small little meadow built by House Farron. I kept my distance. This whole place was built around. I on the outskirts now. They only built the wall nigh 36 years ago. I was a bit annoyed, as you can imagine. Destruction of such beautiful things for a wall. Really.
It's a shame.
It is.
Well, the place around looks nice.
I brought little pieces of home here. But I keep it contained. No need for invasive species to get out of hand.
And what is it that you need help with, or that we were supposedly be here for?
I was told that you would restore what once was. The marshes of Unveiling is what your kind calls, what I call the Redwoods. It was not always as it was now. It was a beautiful place. Its fey creatures alike unified, and lived in harmony within the great city of Thixia. Mosatra, as the Fey Council, gifted just like Fairleon's at birth, they had mastery over the arcane and natural magic. They believed, and, well, I'd imagine they still do, that the congruence, which is a natural formation, become a bridge they could control. You have a safe haven for Faye to go back and forth from the planes, from the events of the Sundering tragedy. Salinar, they are worshippers of a tree they call Talus. They were at an end with Thixians and Borsatra. Thixians looked upon them as a cult and their magic unnatural. Salinar looked at Thixians as manipulating a natural phenomena for their own gain. Troubling tie. But I should have been observed as a peacekeeper. Salinar saw as a soldier. Not understand why I wore the armor I did, wielded the magic I had. Only do so much to convince them. They are strange creatures, the Salinar. Strange creatures.
Could you explain more about the Salinar? What type of strange?
They represent themselves as any other druid circle would, but they were not elf. However, they resembled elf. Was curious. They also spoke that Talus was a living thing, not like a tree. Like it had its own being and agendas. It was strange.
I mean, you've been here hundreds of years, so I guess you might know. Are the Salinar what are controlling the Horde or the Fog?
No. The Salinar were unfortunate that their matriarch Kalima would do such a thing. I observed the Salinar in line with Kalima, but on my last days, they too were hunted by the shadows and the creatures.
Can you give us more information about the marshes?
I have an old map. Not sure if it's relevant anymore, but I can get it for you.
It would be appreciated.
Right. All right. Let's go upstairs. Take me a while. Begins to walk to the spiraling staircase in the entry chamber, then it begins to conjure one of those elevators. As they sit down. Spiral up. Using the plants. Oh! Actually, I wrote that in. Very specific, but I've never had Pexine ever go upstairs with pretty much any other group, so that's pretty funny.
Achievement unlocked.
Achievement unlocked. Yeah, exactly. Let me go ahead and get. This might be a big bulk upload.
Yeah, take it back. Very interesting.
Would I lie to you?
Would I know the difference?
I'm gonna pass out some potions.
Okay. That's fine.
I'll
Are
give
you
one to
just
Felix, one to Othello, one to Reg.
I'll drag those into your inventory in just a second. Just making sure some of the initial positions of the map have actually been changed after the migration. Super interesting. Just only a handful. All right, so Vaccina is going to return after quite a while, right? I mean, you're pretty much down here for easily half an hour, it seems, just of your own accord, plus the time based on the making of the tea and the baking and the certain things. I mean, it's been probably been, it feels like an hour. It has been an hour. And this is, I mean, this is stereotypical work here. You go to grandparents' house, right? You know what I'm saying? We're living it. We're feeling the moment. We're just kind of, okay, this person's, living their life as best as they can, and they move with the motions and the things. They come back to the table, and upon that, they begin to unroll a very weathered and decayed scroll that is loosely bound on a leaf that is kind of stained and dyed. And the immediate understanding of this is that the dimensions of the space are not accurate. That the things relevant in terms of like the river size and the things are just really blown out of proportion. And it's really maybe to fill out the leaf itself in that way. Now I'm going to put you onto this map. So as it's kind of drawn out and rolled out onto the table here, Paxina begins to point at certain things. And the first pointing kind of goes towards Norfolk. This is where fishing people of Norfolk live. It is a humble fishing village, and it is on the outskirts of the marshes, at the tributaries of where the headwaters and the river meet to form into the mighty Farron River. It's not called this long ago, but your kind has a way of naming things after powerful people, which I find strange. But we do the same in some regard. Osatra would be no different to that. The Altar of Flowers was where we would convene with the Salinar and where negotiations would take place. If the Salinar are still existing within there, then you would be able to perhaps convene with them there. The Mukluk. They are a collection of Mollywogs, frog people. They live in the most dense of the swamp, thick and filled with water. It's almost impassable to the undead. The Mukluk are ruled by a King Muck with 12 different titles. King Muck requires always an item of some value, something shiny, in exchange for talking. Very interesting character. I only know that King Muck because I spoke with King Muck. I'd imagine the descendants pass through, and it would be another Muck. They all call their king Muck. That is the title in frog speech. They are a simple and very unintelligent kind species. But they like shiny things, and that speaks value. The Ivrai, they were rangers, wood elves that had gathered themselves to fight against Kalima and the Saladar and the creatures of undead. They are to exist, they would be at their lake, which is what they had named their collection and their fellowship. 3 lakes of Duza. Those were home to the lizard folk. They are many of their tribes existed across the entire Redwoods, but they had formed their safe haven into the bogs, and they hoped that they can maintain themselves. I do not know which lizard folk tribes exist anymore. There were dozens of them last time I was in the marshes. Vixia, marked here on the west side of Crepper Lake. I don't know how much of it exists anymore. It was the epicenter of where the creatures emerged, and it has been lost to time. The Towers of Morsatra, named for their direction. They are responsible for time and place. They are an ancient and powerful magic. Large towers. Each Morsatra put their life force into the creation of them. They are bound to the tower. A mirror tower exists in the Feywild within the Autumn Vale. And it is of utmost importance that when a bridge to the congruence occurs, they are in sync. I don't know much else about them than that. As a Fairleon, I was simply a guardian of the Fae. It's my job to protect people, not to understand the arcane or the mastery of space. See, Jay is getting very excited upon hearing this. Can't hold back the smile, can you, young love?
It's intriguing.
So out of character terminology, just for reference, that Paxina is using bridge and congruence as two separate things. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The congruence is always there, but it isn't always bridged. So they're saying that the towers are responsible for bridging it.
I would have a basic understanding of that, correct?
Yeah.
From where I'm from.
Yeah, I mean, most older races that have established, republics or civilizations, mainly elves, they would understand, especially with some of their dealings with the wild, the Sundering, right? Some of these events that have happened to them, they know what that means. They know the terminology of that. Other races that don't really have sort of involvement to congruences, they actually would not have all that information. They could know, depending on their stature and their training and their education, they could know they exist, but they don't really understand the inner workings of them because congruences aren't exactly researched anymore, right? It's kind of a, swept under the rug feeling with a lot of that. You have to dig it out of libraries and out of tomes and certain things to really figure it out. Any questions on the map at all? It's back over to...
Yeah, I'm gonna try to commit it to memory because I don't want to take his map from him.
Oh, dear, you can take this with you. I have no use. Like I'm going in the marshes anytime soon. Are you planning to go in?
I think that was the idea.
Get with you, dear. Guide you and help you.
Thank you.
Welcome. Map is now accessible.
You mean I didn't have to draw the whole thing in my notebook just now?
You did not have to draw the whole thing in your notebook, but it's nice to have reference, especially out of session. The world's not populated. That can be very helpful.
And you have a cool page in your book now. It's a cool aesthetic. One question though. That tower was Warsatra, right?
They all are the towers of Mor Satra. But they all are changed just slightly to designate their direction. So they can be differentiated between themselves. That is in northwest, east, and south. So north would be Norsatra, west would be Warsatra, south would be Sorsatra, east would be Warsatra. So there's whole. That's kind of how they're named. Now, I could have made more complicated names, but this is already very complicated, and I was like, you know what? I don't really want to make more things that are complicated. So
in a sense, it's like a sort of a compass.
this is correct.
Okay.
The congruence is at the center of this company, and that is within a place called Satoric Citadel. It is an area inside of Thixia. And at the center of the citadel is Satoric Tower.
Can you describe it?
Satoric Tower had a treasury underneath. It was used to house items that would Fey refugees from the Sundering would bring with them, and that they would like to leave in the treasury. It's a collective. Others, houses and whatnot, would keep their gold and coin that they would bring forth and use in the city. It's dug out of the depths of the bedrock. It sits on the west side of the lake, thick, dark granite. The tower is tall, but not nearly the level of the towers of Mor Satra. Stands just shy of 100 feet. It is small, and it has many different windows. Flat, roughly on the top. Black, tiny creneals postings above. It has changed, I'm sure, from the years. But it is on the west side of Crepple Lake, in the middle, in the heart. You cannot miss it on entering the city. Towers of Mor Satra stand taller. They are significantly larger. They span hundreds of feet in their length and their width. They are made of solid black stone, grown from lava on this obsidian-like rock. They are the life force of the Mor Satra. They are manifestations of power they wield. They are very, very strong. They would most likely outlast any weather. Well, it seems like you all are quiet now. These must be very good. Refill, anyone?
Yes, please.
Walk away, leaving you all alone at the table. Okay. No conversation to be had. Vaccine returns. It's your tea. It's your refill and sits back down. Sip away and just enjoying the company of all of you and enjoying the biscuits as they bunch away. Is there any other any questions or anything you wish to ask Maxine at this point?
Breckmore really wants to talk to her and ask her more specifically about the druid circles and rings, but it'll be once everyone else leaves.
Gotcha. So you're okay. Let me get straight. I don't think people are gonna leave you here. Just straight up. Is anybody gonna leave Regmore here alone?
Nope.
No, I don't think so. So
I'm
I
not on
don't-
Reg duty. Am I right?
yeah, Regmore, I think you're not gonna get that treatment here where they're gonna leave you alone. Unfortunately. So, with that said, if no one has anything they'd like to add at this point in the conversation, I think we can pretty much wrap up with you all departing, right, Maximus? It sounds like, and just kind of clinging to Regmore, making sure they leave. Regmore, are you putting any fight to that?
Yes, Ragnar
Okay.
will fight
Alright.
them over. Like,
Okay.
say I need to talk to her, him, her, alone.
Oh yeah, go for it, bud. We're not in any rush. You got it.
No, it'll be matters, private matters.
No.
I mean, we could be outside. You know,
Okay.
not to be so much tension, guys.
Yeah, lots of tension here. Wow. I think we should end it. I think I should end the session right now and hold on to this tension for later. Or you all can figure the fuck out. Because it's getting awkward.
No, Thea's just gonna be like, I don't care, and leaves and goes back toward where she left Joe and Costas.
Back to the blacksmith. Okay. Felix and Regmore having the stare down across the table.
Damn it, dude! Left me here. We had a conversation. Yeah, I should be fine. It's okay, Felix.
Oh, I thought like
Oh,
you,
I'm good.
you take Felix with you.
No.
I have studying to do, guys.
You're good.
Nina's just sitting there.
I'm not even here. In fact, cast invisibility on myself.
Be nice.
Oh. Alright. Felix is invisible. Disappeared out of line of sight. Regmore,
And
you're left there.
Othala awkwardly walks out.
Othala, you join, kind of running up, catching up with Thea. You begin to head in the direction of the blacksmith. Regmore, seems like you are alone. However, Felix did not try to hide that they casted that, so it's up to you.
Regmore looked at Paxita. Can I speak to you in private, alone?
Maxine looks around. Aren't we alone right now?
I have a feeling a certain goblin still remains.
Why does that matter, though? Truth be told, aren't you all party members, companions, and friends? Why is this so much sharing information that seems to be on your own? In my day, my sister, Frelion, we were bound together by roots and petal. Showed and told and shared everything. And most Thixians did as well. We all shared. Perhaps the goblin, Felix, just wishes to, I don't know, listen to what we have to say. Doesn't seem that bad to me.
He'll shift into speaking in Druidic. Can you speak our tongue?
I don't understand what you're saying. Don't speak what you're talking about.
You revert back to common. I want to know more about the Selenar and the other druid circles. Since
Well,
coming to this continent, I've yet to meet any of fellow practitioners.
I see. You're curious. That's fine. Well, long ago in Arthuria, there was druid circles. There was many druids, halflings and gnomes that bound themselves to the natural worship of things in the life cycle that we call natural element, world of magic, based to every living creature. Those that still do these practices are very shrouded and secluded. They do not interact with outsiders. This is for good reason. History has not been so kind to druids or their circles. I do know that there are circles that exist. They might still. Who knows? The Long Rainforest was home. Circle of Moon, beast worshippers. There are druids, the nomadic plains, the foothills that work and reside with orcs in Ismar. Others further south, Nifendel and jungles, Cylindar, they keep themselves away. I would not pose as a welcome friend, but rather someone with trade, speaking in terms of opportunity. Maybe show them your gifts, speak your language. They might see you as friends, but do not just walk in with open arms and expect treatment. Salinar, I do not believe to be a druid circle, as they have been described themselves as such. Practitioners do not simply give themselves to a tree and speak to it as law. I would be wary to treat them as friend in the same way I would treat another druid circle. Wary, without open arms, but continuing tradition of druidic speak, and with gifts of trade.
Now you understand why the my asking for secrecy. Not all of our circles share our knowledge outside of those who do not belong to us.
Of course, but we are not talking in manners of secrecy. I do not know which circle you come from. I do not know your people. We can talk about it in still a general sense. I am also not a druid. I am not necessarily a Ladrin either. I am a Freljord, creature that is born every coming of age, bound to natural magic. I blossomed in a flower, and I grew from its petals and its roots.
So the Salinar worship this Talos.
Yes, I'll put the name in chat for you. It's Talus. How I pronounce it, anyways. Could be completely wrong. It's a damn dungeon master.
And they're the ones that are inside the marsh.
That is correct. Mm-hmm.
I thank you for your time and this information.
You are most welcome. Have a good day. Goodbye.
All right. Before you depart, Paxinas, heading, I'd imagine, in a destination. Where are you going?
Outside the gate.
Outside the gate. So you're heading in the northern direction, which is the closest place to get outside of the town, and you begin to head that way. Felix, I imagine you're still following. Okay. Where are you going in particular when you get outside of the gate?
Since everyone else is off doing their stuff, Ray's wild shaping into an eagle to fly out west. More scouting to see from an aerial view of if that fog that the undead are coming through.
Okay. So you're just kind of seeing if you can see that fog rolling in, right? Basically describe that the fog, like that's it same as So I get you kind of flying up. Okay, sounds good. We'll come to that. I think it's a good time to end. I just wanted to see where you were going with your train of thought here. So coming to a proper conclusion of observation there. All right, sounds good. The rest of you making way either to the blacksmith or to other places. We can come to that at the start of the next session. We're at a decent part before we get into anything else to go ahead and subside and end the session. So nice work, everyone. Lots of information. All right, potions. I got 5 to give out. I'm gonna give out.
I kept 2. I gave 1 to Felix, 1 to Athala, and 1 to Reg.
Okay. So you kept 2, and then 1 to everyone else that was there.
Just for track for next week, I did cast Polymorph on myself and follow Rec.
Okay.
Bird fight?
I just need to say this on behalf of the group. Thank you, David.
He's on.
You know, Felix has been burnt, and he doesn't trust easily after he's burnt, so it's gonna be a while.
Someone has to do it.
I think I have the potions put into your inventories. Fantastic. Okay. All right. I'm going to calculate some experience for you all for roleplay and whatnot.
One thing I had to ask though, before we turn off the recording, This one place, Krikos is loaded. I believe I said it wrong. Krikos, something Sular Kingdom. Is that a part of the? That's also a part of the Crystal Desert, right?
Krakos, is that what you just said to me?
Yeah, Krikos. Yeah, Krikos.
Krakos is an archipelago. It is far away, and it's a collection of different islands and things. There's only one character who's ever been in this group, and that was Zell, that would have information on Krakos.
Damn it, Zell.
And unfortunately, did not share a whole lot of that.
You had a good part. Oh, I have like 3 things listed for this one section of Krikos. It would have been so great to piece that.
Well, it said he had to go off and be killed by Ezekiel. So
What's sad is that I didn't even remember what that place is, but if it's a place Zell was too, I know where it is. Didn't recognize the name, but I know
It goes so it's such crucial information. I feel like because it's on my page with the first people, so it's
yeah.
So I was thinking of character sheets like that we had experience that was not like people did not have the same experience. So I believe you had, from my notes, you had 39,549 experience. And so you've been awarded 1,177, which should put you at 40,726.
Yeah, I got 9,549 too. So
Micah, I had a couple of questions.
You want
about
them
crafting.
you want them on the recording, or do you want them off the recording? Depends how long it's going to be.
Oh, they are? Okay, yeah, you can have them off. I don't care. Like, they can be
Okay. If it was gonna, I'm not trying to be rude, Lucas. I'm just trying to time frame of these questions. I'm like, should we still have the recording going? But if not, I'm going to close it out because it's a good time. So experience been awarded, everything like that. So if you're watching the video, thanks so much. The stream, thanks so not the stream or the video. If you're watching the session, thanks so much. We really appreciate it. Oh, it's so awkward. And we hope you join us again for the humble adventures of Group 6.
Babysitters Club.
All right.